this is the elephant in the room. Right, Malcolm? Well, brother, this is a Jew. You're black. And you had the Jew. This is the elephant.
Before.
Listen, Swifty. The Arabs stand on no higher of a platform. They also sold our people into slavery.
What?
Sub-Saharan slave trade. Google it. It lasted like 1,000 years plus.
What do you want to say?
I've heard multiple times African American men spreading around that Jews were slave owners, that Jews, even one that said that Jews invented the N-word.
Of course.
We had to say to him, the N-word comes from Spanish, from Spain, from Europe, not from the Jews. And he was like, no, the Jews were slave owners, they did this, and they were in America. And we had to explain to him that it's a conspiracy theory to blame the Jews for slavery so white people don't get the blame. We have
Rishi, let me educate you about some history you might not know, right?
Black Americans hate the Jewish people. They don't care about Palestinians. They just hate the Jewish and Israeli people.
No,
If you care about people, what will the children
Hold on, guys, let's work on the one mic. Hold on.
What is with Bashar al-Assad? What is with Bashar al-Assad? Answer me. What is with Bashar al-Assad?
I don't know.
Kill these people.
I don't know who Bashar.
Okay, hold on. One mic. Swifty, talk for minutes, and then hold on. Got Swifty, talk for 2 minutes, and Malcolm will respond if anyone else wants to get in.
Just one thing. Because the black Africans obsessed with the Jews, they just care about what the Jewish people are doing. But if Bashar al-Assad killing 1 million people, they don't care. Because the Jews are not involved. Thank you. You can continue.
But also, there's a lot of African Christians that are created for Israel and standing with Israel. It's only African people in the West that have been told by Palestinian Arabs that have hijacked. First of all, they hijacked Black Lives Matter. Let's get that straight too. Arab Muslims went to Black Lives Matter and said, "Oh, the IDF is the same as the American police. You need to side with us. We are the same." Look at Curry Bush from the squad. She's recently been voting out of the U.S. Congressman. She has been told by Rashida Tlaib that black people in America are have the same mistreatment as Palestinians, and they are brothers in the struggle. Like, this is a very African-American thing that has been now imported to the UK as well and to the rest of Europe. But real African Christians under the Sahara, they pray for Israel. They stand with Israel.
All right, so
please, Malcolm.
No doubt. I just want to respond to both Swifty and Rishi, okay? Maybe y'all don't know something about human nature. I'm going to recommend the book to y'all. It's by Robert Greene. It's called The Rules of Human Nature. I'm not a psychologist, so I can't recommend a bunch of books to y'all, but this is my reference point, okay? So what I've learned from him is that inherent to human nature is narcissism, all right? So we tend to like people who reflect what we see in ourselves, you know? If he looks like us, we'll gravitate towards him. If he eats like us, we'll gravitate towards him, etc. So with that being said, right, I'm not going to take you down a crash course of black history, but I will mention one instance. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. I will take you down a crash course. I got 2 minutes, right? Okay, I'll be brief. So, very broadly speaking.
What the hell does this have to do with Israel and Hezbollah?
I mean, weren't we talking about black people?
He doesn't know what Bashar al-Assad is. However, you know he's been talking about.
Yeah, I don't
All right,
know why.
in any case, can we not hit the hard left? I did have
talking about the black Palestinians.
I just want to reclaim my term. Why am I being disrespected? Can we mute his mic? Is that possible?
Well, I don't respect you.
I love his.
Like,
I love some of the things he says. You can take little tidbits out of each and every little thing.
I come on this app, Jeff, just for your respect. But in any case, can we mute his mic?
Okay, probably won't.
No, because you're not. And that's time. Thank you. Our next person.
All right, no problem. Shit, you can't handle the speaker. Why not?
Just remember, Malcolm, the Jews control the media.
Okay, Alonzo.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What up, Daniel?
Okay, you want to speak?
Wait, so y'all you co-signing that?
do you have anything further to add?
You're just bloviating, Ish.
I'm
No, I'm not
just trying to
bloviating.
understand the point. Just get to the point. If you can get to the point.
He doesn't have a point. He just likes the sound of his voice.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
And he wants to
I
talk
get
about
under
the black
your
American
skin.
struggle, and he's not even a foundational black. He's
I
a-
get under your skin, Jeff.
Talk about
Doesn't
Asian
bother me
slavery.
about which
Then
type of black
stop colonizing other people's pain.
Okay.
Look, Swifty came in the room. He came on stage and he said, "Look, we know what the real deal is here. Okay, we know you're black, all right, and because you're black, the Black Americans in America, okay, they
That's
basically
Malcolm.
hate the
Are
rich
you
people."
denying being
And
black?
I wanted to address that. Okay, I wanted to address that. Now we informed Swifty over the 2 minutes that he was.
Okay. Do you feel that you have addressed it now, Malcolm?
No, I don't feel I'm addressed it. I felt I was interrupted, disrespected, and you were inconsistent about your moderation.
Okay, so then go.
The word Lebanon literally means white.
I'd like to talk a little bit about how you moderators owe Malcolm reparations.
So Malcolm, you want to get some respect. I'll respect your stupid comment by showing you why you were stupid. What you did was called an hypothesis.
Man, suck my dick. I'm leaving.
Leave. What you did was called an hypothesis. You think that all people are evil. That's an hypothesis. You have to read facts from history. You haven't. You can't because you don't know them. So if you want to talk about reality and see if we can substantiate your hypothesis, you're going to have to read facts. And once we get to facts, Malcolm.
Yeah. So I just wanted to correct Rishi. Rishi, when you said you said a few things that I disagree with, but when you said certain words were made by Spanish people, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were today's year old when you found out that there were many influential Jewish persons in Spain, right? That did horrible things to black people. In Portugal, same thing, right? All over the world, historically. Say it again.
Muslims did those horrible things to black people.
No.
Muslims took
No,
over control of Spain and Portugal, and
No,
they started
Right, so that's
No.
So again,
No.
enslaving black people never so, but this is also the reason there are people, middle class people.
Let him talk.
Why are we not talking about this? Why are we talking about this?
Rishi, let him talk and then you can respond. Let's not interrupt.
Kick him out, okay?
No, I'm not going to kick him out, okay? Let him talk. And then.
No, because black Americans want to make it about America and not about Israel.
Rishi, use your ears, listen, let him talk, and then you can respond, okay?
Yep. So you were correct about Portugal having Arabs, right, for a long time, right? And then there were battles, and Catholics, many Jewish persons, and others fought back, and about 1290 or something around there, that population of quote-unquote Muslims started to diminish greatly, right? However, many Jewish persons lived and succeeded and thrived within those communities during the Arab times, right? So when you talk about folks like Jaug and Calvez Zarco in 1441, yeah, a Sephardic Jewish man, right, and others, right, that sailed to West Africa and brought back my people. So yeah, in the Trans-Saharan.
Wow, they bought his people. It's his people.
Had a crazy monopoly.
Oh, the guy was big.
And then when you talk about the transatlantic slave trade, the first
Big Rasta!
European, right, with influence, to take my people from West Africa.
My people.
And bring them to Europe was
They ain't your people, cause you ain't a king, man.
So
We was king.
Anyway, so
Anyways.
yeah, I think black people really, both groups had, at those times, did harmful things to my people, right? So
My people.
it's not like, they're taking one side
But you
or
a
the
king.
other based off so
Nigga, you a
slavery.
king.
We both know that
Wigga, you a king. Wigga, you a king.
Financier that
was kings. We was kings. My people, my people, my people, my peoples, my peoples.
And nowadays, Lonzo.
And why is this even
Hold on, Rishi. Hold on,
discussed
Rishi.
in this room?
Hold on,
Because
Rishi.
she brought it
Hold
up.
on. You know,
Well, we
someone,
brought it up.
someone
You
else
said
brought it
why
up.
black people
Let's
are
keep brought it up.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah, someone else brought it up.
And we discussed why black Americans on Clubhouse
Hello.
believe in conspiracy theories about Jews.
Hello, Daniel.
And that is a real
He's trying to
problem.
respond.
The black
Hold on,
community,
Rishi,
the black community in
moderator's trying to
America has been misled by Muslims infiltrating your community. Elon Omar.
Can you please respect the queue? Daniel, trying to cover. Daniel?
I would like to pivot back at some point to the room.
I just respond to Mr. Alonso. In fact, the biggest slaves traders that brought the slaves to the white American people from Africa were Arabs, Muslims, by the way. They caught them inside Africa and then sent them to the Americans who took them to America. But the black people never say that. They hide it, or maybe they don't know it. So here the data. The Palestinians, who are the Arabs, their grandfathers were trading slaves. This is a fact. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, nobody.
Also, the theories espoused by Louis Farrakhan and David Duke have been mostly debunked. So a lot of this is just absolute bullshit. Just putting that out there.
I mean, should we just deal with the facts? Should we just deal with the facts of the room? Lonzo doesn't care about which great grandfather from 14 centuries ago did what. He just hates Jews today.
That's not true. Yeah,
That's very true.
You told that.
He didn't choose
Election
history.
marathons.
that would mean I also hate like some of my family members, and that's definitely not accurate, right? So
Do you have the same hatred towards Arab Muslims?
Wait, Lonzo, that doesn't prove anything. I fully believe you found the numbers.
oh yeah,
I'm not trying to prove it.
I don't know if you've been in some of my rooms or you heard me speak. I don't hate anybody, bro.
I've heard you speak and I've heard your hate and you've admitted to it, but you can try to
Yo,
deflect now and try to say
definitely not
something
true.
that sounds like it's
Daniel's been in many of my rooms. Jacob has been in many of my rooms. You could ask them. I don't hate it.
So, Lonzo, when you come across Arab Muslims, do you immediately hold them accountable for enslaving Africa for 1400 years the way that you blame Jews, a KKK, Louis Farrakhan conspiracy theory? Because I feel like the black American community doesn't need to do this to the Jewish community. The Jewish community fought in America with black people for black rights. Where were the Muslims fighting for black rights? The Muslims have never fought for black rights.
Yes, that's not accurate. I mean, look, listen. This isn't, I hope this isn't like, Islam versus Christianity versus Judaism, right? That's not what this is, right? I think that's a bad precedent to pin people against each other, right? I'm against that, at all costs, right? I feel like, if we just stick to the arguments, we'll have better conversations. Those days of, people like saying, hey, no, I hate you because you're Arab, I hate you because you're Jewish, Christian, that's stupid. That shit is fucking prehistoric. We gotta get past that.
No one hates
We
Arabs.
gotta get past that.
There is no such thing as hatred towards Arab. Arab Muslim is the dominant cultural force right now in the world. So of course, if you're very popular, of course you have people that don't want to go along with the trend. That's not hatred. Rejecting something that's popular, that's trendy, that's being promoted, and you're not following along with it, that's not hatred. Muslim Arabs don't experience any hatred, especially in the West. They get everything handed over. Everything is handed over in your hands.
Yeah.
And especially when you're a black American community, the black American community, they need to stand up against the Arabization of your own community. Look at what's happening in Minnesota. It's becoming Somalia there.
Well, first of all, I love Somalis, right? So again, shout out to Somalia, right? Shout out to Minnesota. Shout out to all the diversity in Minnesota. It's a beautiful thing. It's not a bad thing, right? just because somebody's Muslim doesn't impact my life at all, right? Somebody's Jewish doesn't impact my
But
life.
this is a very,
or
but
Christian.
this is only a
Bro,
statement
these
you
are
can
these
do when
these
you're
are
not surrounded by
prehistoric
it.
arguments, bro. These are look. People went. They had crusades
This is
about
American-centric. This is American-centric.
We gotta get past that, bro.
No,
All right, I'm
because if you're
confused
living
about
in
something
where
here.
Muslims are the majority, then you cannot say, oh, Muslims have impact on my life. People in the Middle East that are not Muslim don't have the privilege of thinking, oh, Muslim is not a problem because they're not really around me. This and this is a
Wait,
very
you think
American
Muslims are a problem
opinion
because they're Muslim?
Rishi, allow me
Rishi.
to after he's gone.
Yeah, I think, enough of us have spent enough time with Lonzo to know that he resembles an anti-Semite far more than a duck. But, I mean, to the extent that the mods have allowed him to go for totally off topic. Lonzo, what date do you claim the Atlantic slave trade started?
1441.
Okay, and who was it started by in terms of nations?
Portugal. Look up João Gonçalves Zarco.
Well, put that in the side chat. I'd love to look it up. But by most scholars, the Atlantic slave trade didn't actually start until actually the 15th century. But you may be quoting like someone who had a slave, but certainly it was not an institutional. Well, historians don't credit it to begin until the 16th century. So now that being said, you do feel the need to blame Jews, and Portugal and Spain had already had their Inquisition, and the Jews were not doing anything on behalf of those countries. So you're pointing to an outlier before the period that historians credit as being part of the Atlantic slave trade, because you love the Jews.
No, I'm talking about the first.
Or is it because you?
Remember we talking about the beginning?
Or is it because you? I'm sorry. Is it because, or is it because you have contempt for truth?
No, Jeff. I'm talking about the first. Normally, like when we're having a conversation about starting, speak about the beginning.
So you're saying this person who you identify as Sephardic Jewish was the first person in history to take a slave in West Africa?
Facts.
But why is that relevant? Slavery has happened for millennia.
No, Jeff. Look.
What does it prove?
The guy existed, but
Yeah, I'm just talking about the first. That's all.
yeah, it's just a
But
guy.
the
Look,
first what?
everyone
You're
had-
creating a class. Look, he didn't create the first West African slave. The other West Africans did. If you want to look up Mali's slave trade, you'll see it's mostly Muslims that did that one.
When we talk about the first, we talk about the first of something, not the first and then call that the first. Because second of all,
I give it
your virtue of trying to say that was prehistoric and then saying the first 300 years before the slave trade actually started, and then claiming that's the first because you're just reading facts is very hypocritical.
No, bro, it's not. If you look in any argument when we speak about what the Arabs did, we want to know, how far back it goes. We want to know kind of like the first time, right? That's important to an argument. And try to get it.
That's everything I said. No. And this is prehistoric.
Facts.
Lonzo, is it safe to say this guy you're mentioning, which I have looked up, he was Jewish. He wasn't doing it on behalf of the Jewish people. He's an outlier at best. He's just a guy. It wasn't like an industry. The whole thing is reprehensible. We all agree to that. But it's not like it. Then he had 12 votes, and he had 15 votes, and he had 40 votes. It was an event, and everyone had their fingers in the pie. Is that safe to say?
Definitely everybody had fingers in the pie. But, I think I came up when Richie said, he basically tried to make it like, they had no involvement. And I said, no, that's not accurate.
Right. Yeah, let's just be clear. Not running it, not like, look, everyone.
No,
You got us. Busted.
KKK conspiracy theory to blame Jews for slavery because the KKK didn't want white people to get the blame. And when Alonso said
that he's not concerned with Muslims because they're not around him, this and that. But why are you so concerned about Jews then?
I never said that because they're not around me. Listen. Look,
That's what you meant. You're not concerned
no.
with Muslims. You're not interacting with them.
I typically say what I mean, right? So, no, that's not what I meant, bro. Look, I have everybody around me. I have many Jewish friends and family members around me. I have many Muslim friends and family members around me. Many Christian friends and family members around me, right? Hindu, same thing. I'm literally like, I just go with what's going on, right? So, I have rooms and conversations about what's happening, right? Whether...
And do you have Jewish friends?
Hold on a second. Like I said, we don't need to prove that Lonzo has a special animus for Jews. We all know him. But Lonzo, just to clarify, since your article didn't mention anything about his slave activities, tell us about his slave activities. What exactly do you think he did, and what about that has actually been confirmed by historians?
You could ask Yaakov. He can probably break it down better. But, ultimately,
I'm not an expert. I looked up a claim that he had, and there's a Jewish guy that ran a boat of slaves
Probably a
in the
convert.
time.
Jaco, respectfully, I'm asking him, but who's making the claim?
Yes, I know. I'm just
So,
telling you, I'm not an expert in this area.
Don't let Lonzo explain.
Jacob, he's the conspiracy theory expert. Don't get involved.
This is the summary.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Here's a summary of how Swifty made the claim that this idea to blame the Jews is a KKK conspiracy. Lonzo brought in an outlier case that he cannot back up. He doesn't know the facts. The guy was a noble, so he probably was a Catholic convert, and we don't even know if he ever owned slaves that sailed a ship for Portugal. And that's his proof that either this guy is being tokenized by the KKK or it has nothing to do with the KKK claim. But you have not argued against what Rishi claimed.
bro, there's statues about this guy all over Europe. I mean,
Okay, but tell us exactly what he did.
That's what his significance was, bro.
Lonzo, tell us how he was the first transatlantic slaver. Explain to us what that journey was, where it came from, where it went, how many slaves it contained. Give us the stats that prove your point.
Look, listen. Just look up the name, and then it's an easy fact. I mean, everybody.
I know the answer to my question.
Okay.
I know the answer to the question, but apparently you don't want to answer.
Look, I've had rooms at this ad nauseum. Listen, everybody.
Well, good, then you should be an expert enough to be able to answer my very basic questions that would establish him as the first transatlantic slaver.
I got you, Jeff. Everybody just look up Jao, J-O-A-O, gun Calvin. No,
we did. And if you can't substantiate your claim, why are we giving you oxygen?
No, I'm just saying for the other people.
You're insulting everybody's intelligence to think that we didn't look it up and we don't know your claim is bullshit.
I'm saying there's new people that came in the room since I came up. I'm saying.
Yeah, and guess what? There's no reason we're going to let you gaslight them since you won't substantiate your claim. So I'll give you one last chance to go ahead and tell us where this first slaver activity happened, or you can go back down to the audience and hang out where you belong.
Yeah, I got you. Look, I just came up with my friends Daniel and Yaakov, man. Great conversation, though, as per usual, guys. I respect them. They're great guys. That's it.
So great conversation is you throwing out a bunch of things you can't substantiate. That pretty much
Yes,
sums it
I
up.
believe it. And then for the record, the only allegation that I was able to find is that perhaps he had some slaves in the Canary Islands or Madeira, which is neither transatlantic nor does it make him the founder of the Atlantic slave trade.
He was
But that's fine. He's a Jew, so he wants to
No. And what I was trying to say was, it says that he's likely Jewish. It didn't say he was. It was like, it was likely.
He's more likely a new Christian given the time frame and the
Yeah, I
fact
was gonna
that
say that in 1418, if he was a noble in Portugal, he was certainly a convert. I don't know if he converted or his father converted, but he definitely did.
He was probably
There was nothing new Christians be nobles.
Yeah, they did. They purposely.
Not that quickly.
in that period they would.
Yeah, they would have.
Wait, you could be born Jewish and become a noble by converting?
Yeah, that was the enticement. If you convert, we'll bring you into the umbrella.
Well, prior to the 15th century, Jews may have been nobles. So there's nothing to say he became a noble by virtue of converting. He may have been a noble as a Jew and converted in order to.
I was
Yeah,
just
but
asking if
by
that was
14,
clear.
And I was answering the question.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
in Portugal, and had he not converted, he would not have been able to act as a noble anymore.
I give you an advice. Every time that you argue with black Americans who hate Israel and support the Palestinians, tell them this. Our brothers, the Ethiopians, are fighting right now against the Palestinians. And they get driving crazy. They don't know how to answer that. They cannot believe that black people are fighting right now against the Palestinians.
By the way, Jews.
So
I'm Jews.
I would like to add
Ethiopian Jews fighting in Gaza right now against the Palestinians.
Just to
And
add,
the black people, American people don't know that.
yeah, but that's not the point right here. Lonzo just doesn't like Jews. There's nothing to do with other.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And yeah.
All I want to
He's
say
just saying he does.
is if so,
Can I
source
add
is
this with
fair
you?
on David
Please
Duvray on
add-
Hitler, I think we should accept it.
May I please add to Swifty's point, because I can maybe provide a little bit of an American context. I love his Israeli perspective. I'm Israel Chai, but I'm trying to maybe help him a bit more so that it clarifies for others.
Wait, I thought you were gonna say something after that.
Okay, so there is a very good educational institution in America that very much educates people about this conspiracy theory. It is 100% a Ku Klux Klan conspiracy theory, and it is promoted by Black Lives Matter, or specifically ADOS, African Descendants of Slavery. This talks about this issue in extensive depth. The Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience, it's in Louisiana. I posted a link in the chat. I've actually emailed back and forth with the founders, because when it first came out, I was like, this is so cool. I grew up in the South, so, a lot of African Americans harbor wild conspiracy theories about Jews, and just due to economic status, they very rarely come to the surface. And this is a museum which exposes a lot of it and tries to help educate them.
Thank you.
I hope I didn't deplete the room of oxygen. If so, I hope I just thought that back and
It's
forth.
heading in that direction anyway, don't worry about it.
Arguments about ancient history, especially American history, are easily addressed in Washington, D.C. It's just most of the time they're talking about American history, but they're trying to use these talking points that they get. And so they need more and more specific museums to help them. And so that's why they built this museum in Louisiana.
Daniel, I sent a telegram as a follow-up to the Fourth Geneva Convention, if you care to read it. I don't know if you're still in the room.
What is this, man?
The last conversation I was engaged in before I started working, and I tuned in and out, was arguing with Brent over his settlement project. And he wanted to use the argument that disputed territories was not explicit in the Fourth Geneva Convention. I wasn't 100% sure. I went through it and honestly cheated with AI. It's not explicitly mentioned, but it is explicitly discussed by multiple international lawyers afterwards that it is not covered under what is mentioned, and that was the way I depicted it, of occupation. So by the definition of occupation, this doesn't fit, and the Geneva Convention really doesn't deal with occupied territories per se. does, but that's not its focus. The focus is on war zones. So the fact that it misses a classification and it doesn't fit into the other classification is still very much justifies my point. I just put it into writing as a follow-up.
What are the make awareness great again, Telegram?
No, I can put it there. I did it like the rest of the day. I can copy it. I know how many people were in the room and we get the copy.
Apparently Hamas has left.
And I pretty much summarized it for you, Matt. I'm not to the point.
Apparently Hamas has left Cairo.
Jerusalem Post is reporting that they have turned down the latest ceasefire.
They want any agreement must include permanent ceasefire, full withdrawal from the strip, the return of the displaced to their homes, restoration of the strip, and a serious prisoner deal. So Israel wants permanent forces along the Philadelphia route and certain places along the division lines. This is not going to fly.
And after the Gilad Shalit deal, I don't think any serious prisoners are going to get released. No, yeah, yes,
I mean, the most important objective of the war was the dismantling of Hamas. So that's anything that leaves them within military control is a no go.
It would be 2014 all over again.
Or that augments their numbers.
The IDF destroyed 270 targets in Lebanon. I'm going to update a bit, so I'll be back shortly.
I mean, 1 in 70, you said?
No, 270.
Oh, total of 270. Okay, that's a much better number.
And they were like rocket launcher, right?
I don't know, like I just know 270. No, we had like 40 targets before, like different location, I think. And in them could be several. I don't know the exact number of launches, just not different location.
Meanwhile, Hezbollah is claiming they hit bases that don't even exist.
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't even remember. It was like, these don't
Matt, they bombed them out of existence forever.
Wow, that's incredible.
In the future. I think my favorite thing he said was, I forgot the number, but he said it was more successful than planned. We only planned on 200. We shot off 240. It was like that, like the rest accidentally shot off. Like, I don't know.
I love this article with Daily Brian. Hezbollah preemptively loses war with Israel.
That's a good one. Thanks for your text message, Robert.
Absolutely.
I will say fully support Israel's actions against Hezbollah, and I would do the same for self-defense purposes.
So Hamas rejects the ceasefire deal.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Not just that they came back across the road.
Yeah, it just came over the wire like 2 months ago.
Well, kind of makes sense following the Hezbollah attack in the morning. They also said that since there's the negotiation is going nowhere, they decided to attack today. They didn't wait those few hours. We'll do it tomorrow. So that was kind of like the clue that it's happening.
Daniel, let's make a gamble. What do you think? Hezbollah will attack tonight?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so also.
So, no gamble?
Maybe someone else wants to. Maybe they will attack. I don't know.
Anyone rich and says that they want to attack?
Let's gamble on how many rockets.
one reason I think these types of, incursions are imperative is not just it's because you have to kill the ideology. These people were celebrating in the streets on October 7th. They will celebrate every single October 7th if they can try to make that happen. The more that oxygen is taken away from them, the better it is. They cannot continue to celebrate October 7th. They cannot continue to demonstrate the way they have. It is not just a problem of Israel. It is a problem of the West as well. They do not do demonstrations in Japan because they don't allow them. But, even in Switzerland or whatever, they have huge problems with this protest culture.
Look, they will always hate the Jews as something in their religion. But we can make them be afraid to do actions against Israel, that's all. They should fear. But the wish to kill the Jewish people and destroy Israel will always be in their heads.
This wish, I think there was an earlier speaker here, I forgot his name, but he was discussing that the Arab countries typically only do well in the Olympics in like violent sports, not like gymnastics like the Japanese, where you have to be very flexible, and there's something in their whole culture. I mean, I think I've been corrected many times about, Christian Arabs are good people, atheist Arabs are good people. I am very suspicious. Coming from, my parents are from India, you see hundreds of millions of Muslims in India. I definitely don't talk about Muslims because Muslims are very obvious, that's theological stuff, and it's obvious that Muslims do that, but many people, I think, don't understand that it's also Arab culture.
Yeah, that was me. I didn't say violent sports, I meant individual sports.
Oh, I see. So they're not bad at teamwork. Interesting.
Yeah, we seem to prefer clan over nation.
Yeah, so when this news broke out of October 7th, the only thing popping in my head was this is like Lawrence of Arabia, what the heck is happening? But then the Arabs themselves, when they see me asking that in those terms, they think that they're succeeding because they think they're making progress. It doesn't make any sense. I feel like Lawrence of Arabia the more I interact with Arabs because I feel like I'm trying to solve very common sociological problems, but you have to learn Arabic and I have no desire to do that.
Well, I'm a very proud Arab, and I don't see October 7th as a success at all, and most Arabs that I know and speak to don't either.
Well, that's good. You should introduce me to some of your friends. I don't think I'll have too much trouble learning Arabic. I like learning languages for fun, but for business, Arabic is very important. Like Dubai, I have a lot of relatives in Dubai. A lot of Indians have relatives in Dubai these days just because of, but go on.
Yeah, I just, there seems to be this idea that, there's some fair criticism, but there's this narrative that pops up every once in a while that says, that leans towards this idea that Arabs are supportive of what's going on. It's not actually, this monolithic view is not actually accurate and it's counterproductive. And I would prefer the criticisms remain, but they take a different form, which is more about introspection and the suggestion that Arab nations, Arab people introspect versus this idea that the entire Arab world supports what's going on, or this monolithic kind of view. And I think it leads to more interesting conversations. It's closer to the truth.
In Washington, D.C., I even get along with Saudis because Saudis, they always say we want to learn how to modernize from Americans. It's very fascinating. Like Saudis going in bars and drinking and stuff like that. You see that in Washington, D.C. I mean, the Saudis are really eager to do that, but that's what the Abraham Accords are all about.
Well,
they have
a compelling requirement to do it.
Yeah, if we separate, let's talk about the Saudi regime. They were one of the
Saudis were not part of the Abraham Accords.
Yeah,
No one said they were.
speaking of the Saudi regime, so I'm not talking about the Saudi people right this second, although I spent many years living in Saudi Arabia. The Saudi regime was one of the first to blame Israel for October 7th. They were really quick to put out that press release.
Yeah, but from the other side, they are cooperating with Israel underground.
Well, the problem is the ruling family has to appease the people, their people, so they have to kind of say those things even though they don't mean it.
That's a very that's accurate. Well, I think it's accurate. It's leaning towards accuracy in my view. There's probably quite a few in the ruling family that want that statement to go out. It's also equally dangerous. I mean, forget about being indifferent to bad actions. This is actually overtly supporting them. Which,
more in September, they actually floated a trial balloon that was the details of which would make your head spin. I don't know if you're familiar with that. They said the proposal, this is before October 7th in September, the proposal was they would become the custodians of the Temple Mount. They would be the custodians of Judea and Samaria subject to final negotiations. They would reconstitute the PA because they were kind of annoyed that 20% of their budget was going to pay for slay. So they were going to fund it fully and put in sort of work with other countries to create a technocratic regime, not based on loyalists, but people that could build a country. And they were going to fund it, whatever that means, and provide paramilitary police forces in there. And it's a kind of interesting concept, but unfortunately October 7th happened, and that whole sort of, let's make peace with Israel, join the Abraham Accords, and do all of that stuff. Who knows if they would have done that, but that was their vision. That's where they wanted to head.
Yeah, of course, like, the worst thing that happened on October 7th is obviously the people were killed and injured and terrorized. But the second thing that happened was it pushed back what was supposed to be a great alliance, partnership, or talks with Saudi Arabia, with Israel, which of course got delayed because,
including a way to get hook the Mediterranean up with Saudi Arabia. I mean, there were huge designs. I mean, huge ideas.
Top shit off, but that would fall in line. That's just my theory.
With my anti-Arab views, so I mean, I became so cynical, but I mean, I'm perhaps more willing to engage, which I think is pretty important for those Abraham Accords.
Well, that makes me happy to just know that I'm just one of the majority.
I've dealt a lot with Algerians because I speak French, and even the French will say that your French is come to the point with your pronunciation that they will start to ask, "Was it Arab?" Like, "Are you Arabic?" Because I look Arab, and then they will first of all say like, "Oh yeah, are you Arab?" Because you're getting too far into French. So now I kind of pull back on French a bit, but like, I mean, you should know at least a few Arabs that you should trust, right? Or one should in general.
Yeah, the question I try and figure out is like, where are we headed? I don't know. It's it's very unclear at the moment.
Who's we?
Arab people, where are we headed? So it's an interesting topic, but I've never been more unclear on it than today.
Lebanese often know.
Buddy, I have to go for a few minutes. Can I imagine? Yes, no.
You can mod Andrew.
I don't have mod skills. I don't endorse my.
Yeah, don't mod me.
This room is running out of steam. I wonder if it's. And I don't want to upload it, but I have to go do something.
I think your judgment is pretty good about ending rooms. If you want to end it, I think it's good.
Okay, Fadi, thanks for everything. David,
All right,
take care. Just to take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
People, if they're misbehaved, they're going to fuck around anyway.
We need testosterone serum tests on all people in. That's the future. We're just going to make sure that we're going to use biomarkers to filter who can be a part of a decision-making space or not. I posted something for you, JR. So I know this might offend you a little, but as far as discipline and control is concerned, we're very concerned with your testosterone.
You're not even part of any government agencies.
We don't need to be a part of an agency. We need to make sure they're right.
You try to move pen around Toronto, you take public transportation. I mean, come on. You have
walking around in Toronto is supposed to be having no skin in the game.
Of course,
Arnold Schwarzenegger was on a bicycle like a few days ago.
Well, what part of
Toronto? Do you not like? What do you think we are?
Hey, what part of government agency are you in right now? Like, are you in sanitation? Maybe?
I am in the agency that regulates JRs.
You're not even saying anything here. These I make sense. Between me and
I want to read something. Such as I want to read something. I'm gonna call you such as.
No.
We found that greater 3 month response inhibition, but was unassociated with risky decision making. Whereas greater 3 month cumulative exposure to cortisol predicted less risky decision making, but was unassociated with response inhibition.
I gave a solution, you were not even able to give even one.
So a solution with AI regulation
and now you're trying to derail everything.
Okay. AI
between me and Apple, between me and Apple, we were able to.
He's on the programming with the solution. Look, I'm saying the government.
There's no thing the government talking about.
The government all different government from and
the 17th century still got much of the 21st century.
Yeah, King John, whatever his name is, the primary.
King John what? King John what?
I'm fine.
Why are you going all over the place? Stick to the problem.
You can't control every human being on this planet.
It's not hard.
How? You give me this one.
Told you, biomarkers, working health, specific to mental health, that's all we care about. Don't you get to obsess and control over what you experience. You just need to obsess over what you're experiencing.
Do you know how masses work? Can you control
Yes,
all the
a
person?
mass
All
is a collection of individual groups.
I mean, even if you control the head of a leader, right? He's from the low, right?
This is not how
The masses will be if they want to go in one, hang on, if they want to go in one direction, they will go in that direction. Okay? There's nothing the fucking leader can do. That's how that's it. Yeah, that's why society
When there's a strong leader, you can't look at back and try to you can't tear them not together. Not just the leader.
Oh, but you're in reality. This lessons for individuals.
This is not that we all not front of this.
Deprivation of an ecological and environmental.
You're not supporting, you're not loving Trump or loving this agenda. It looks like you're worshipping this outside. That's what they want. They can't really see that now both the Iran one is like the reason. Our kid tweeted a couple hours ago that there would be more Democrats in this room, like the next one will be announced as the other side. That tells me it's probably Cornell West rumored to be making extremely calling a bitch, but there could be some trolling also. What's that? It's going to be curious to see the politics. This guy, Ben Jones. The fuck you was 6 months ago, and it's back in the news because the fuck you approached Dan Jones 3 days ago. To say, look, I want to tell you what happened. My family got death threats, this and that. And let me explain to you. Ben Jones is like, look, man, I want to call your wife, apologize, and it gives this person sexual. And he's watching like that. Great movie. Clip here from last week.
JR, do you know what it's like?
No, but I do want to jump on this topic. To be honest with you, for me, it doesn't really matter. My life is never going to change, so it's okay for any of us, right? You have a system, right? It's not really going to kill you. It's not just the president is always come on, there's a whole list of things that needs to be in place so that something will actually from your society. And economic too, I mean, it takes a lot of time. A multiplier effect is not that great. So any change you say make, it takes about 18 months, 15. I don't know how many month it takes to have a really automatic change. So I really don't care, man. It's just a binary choice. I'm not even playing this game anymore. This table tennis. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go with. I'm independent at this point. I'm already happy.
Moderators, put me in the queue.
Yeah, so this whole thing.
JR, let him go. Shut up.
Yeah, go there.
No, I mean, you can finish if you want. Go ahead.
He'll never. No. He's not gonna. There's nothing to do. Oh shit, Sherlock. Do we need to get you a PhD?
No, I don't. But like, I don't know why people take things so personally. Yeah, I'll agree. Yeah, I mean, if Trump wants to be a Trump supporter, I don't have a problem. I'm not going to defend him.
The only rational person is Trump supporting right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, even if I can vote for Trump, even in that case, nothing is going to change for me.
Can you send a vote in by mail, like overseas? I heard the Democrats are allowed votes by mail.
JR, so where do you fall in terms of economics? Are you more socialist, communist, or more capitalist?
I'm a capitalist, but I'm not a crony capitalist. But at the same time, I don't want to be extreme capitalist. So there has to be some guardrails governing the situation.
So you're a capitalist with some socialistic tendencies.
Sorry, you were drinking. I don't want to see. Can you guys hear me? I don't want to see people who are. Let's say so. He has to upskill himself when he's not a kid, and his mind has gone slower.
JR began this room when I came in, or at least I don't know what the original was, but the first
He asked me a question.
JR was concerned about the industry basically getting rid of people at the age of 40, and so they have to find new jobs.
That's what you had to say.
And so JR is looking at the industry through that lens.
Where's the demon coming out? I didn't even say that. He's just lying.
It's the truth, Sarah. I have told. It's spiritual. It's the chakra.
Did you hear what I just said, Adrian?
No.
Okay, all I said was I don't like people when I don't believe in crony capitalism. I also don't believe in disruption, which is going to shock the system and which is going to quickly displace people. And a lot of people who are in middle ages, middle-aged people in their 40s or what have you, if they have to upskill or if they cannot find work, that creates a lot of underclass people, and that's why you have a Trump phenomenon. And they go join that because they see, the immigrants are taking over the job and this and that, but they don't understand.
I agree with you, but I think your demographics are off, meaning that is not as many 40-year-olds as there are 50, 60, 70-year-olds that are MAGA. I mean, the evangelical Christian white vote in this country is going Trump. And, even with black youths, they're beginning to see their democratic communist overlords as being the pilferers of their society. I mean, Barack Hussein Obama ran a campaign against Bobby Rush, who is an ultra-black nationalist, and he lost because that's the way populations vote. They vote for the alpha. And so if you're the liberator of your people, and you're an actual honest person, and, so you're going to win that vote. But the point is, I just think your numbers could be wrong, but I would just say vote Trump and go to the gym, fatty.
I'm going to vote for Trump. That's the perfect thing to say to JR. That's the best thing you could say.
Yeah, because the gym will help,
increase the testosterone.
Yeah, testosterone production is desperately needed. Vote Trump and Kennedy and go to the gym, fatty.
Yeah, because when you go to the gym, what happens is eventually the cortisol is replaced by serotonin, and then 6 months later, you have an oxytocin, which is.
You will see your penis emerge from your clitoris like a flower, like a bud coming out of a succulent.
JR, are you taking notes? Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. It's like an angel. This guy's like an angel that came down. Welcome to look. I'm not. I can't vote, man. I'm not even a citizen, so I don't know why you guys are this.
Well, that doesn't stop non-citizens in America from voting. Why should it stop you? Just go there and tell them your name is Steve. They don't even ask for a driver's license. It's called a provisional ballot. That's all you got to say is give me the provisional.
Wait, are you being serious or just hyperbolic?
No, I'm being serious. That's the way elections work in America. You don't have to show ID, and you can say, just give me a provisional, and they'll say, yes, sir.
Did you ask if he's being serious or serious? My apologies, but I'm wearing headphones.
You could go to 30 polling stations and say, I don't want to give you my ID, give me a provisional. They'll say, yes, sir. And you can just vote as many times as you want. It's called election fraud.
I'm interested in attempting this purely academically because I do have access to the United States of America. Would this be federally illegal? Would I be charged if I were to simply go in, ask for a provisional, but not actually fill it out just to see if they would give it to me?
No, that's not illegal. If you cast the ballot.
If you fill it out wrongly, vote. You should do a Facebook Live, Twitter, or TikTok Live, not the Chinese ones.
I voted for Roseanne Barr against Barack Hussein Obama in California. She was the presidential candidate for the Green Party. And when I was there was a guy who was like, this is my first time voting. I am not a U.S. citizen. And they're like, come right in. We'll give you a provisional, sir. And he's like, thank you.
And Jerry, you just have to, like, wear that hat that you do and keep your head, like, a little bit more closer to your body. And, when they give you provincial ballot, your head can pop out like a turtle. Yo, no, but there's no way. I don't even know if this is gonna work because when you go there, they ask for the ID, they match your signature. Third, it's a thorough check. You can't just like fucking just show up and be like, oh, I just want to vote. I don't know. You guys are speaking a bunch of nonsense here, man.
No, we're not presenting a conspiracy theory. You can go on YouTube or Google. It's called a provisional ballot. It is a thing, and they don't get used in the election unless there's a recount or like mega lawsuits.
No, every time I go there, they check my signature. That's on my fucking passport.
I know. I've worked as an election judge. It's all through Dominion voting systems tied into your state judicial database, and they match your name, your signature, address, and that's the way it works. And you can't vote unless you're at the right precinct and you are, you are who you say you are. I didn't detect any fraud in the system, except the fact, this is strange. They claim that the Dominion voting system, or there's a name for it, the name of the product that they buy. It's on 4 wheels. They claim that their data is transmitted via satellite. But then you connect to your Wi-Fi, which is, my ballot, my polling place was at a school, so they connect to the school's Wi-Fi to transmit the results. Why do they say it's through a satellite? And apparently the results go to Germany, okay, because Soros is, he's German or Swiss or whatever the fuck he is. My point is, why our whole system is completely compromised from the top to the bottom, and I believe it 100% that there are no fair and honest elections, and that Kamala is essentially Barack Hussein Obama with a pussy, and she is a Trojan horse candidate, and she is essentially an agent of Skull and Bones. That's my opinion.
JR, PTR, I posted a picture.
If you love the future, if you love yourself, you should vote for who's right and who's the honest politician. That is Trump Kennedy. They are the only legitimate, people who will run this government. If there's another different government, it's totally illegitimate. If Kamala is the president and Waltz is vice president, totally illegitimate. I mean, I will not work for them. I will take, I'm finished. I will not work for them. I'm waiting for the election to just go back to work.
I'm just gonna take a rain check. I'm not gonna. No. This is what we're. This is what we're. So, I'm gonna fly to Vegas to get married, to get my citizenship. So, about that. Yeah. Okay. You do it, man. I'm already.
Bro, good luck. You think you're going to be able to get your voter registration ID in the system, that quickly? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what Naruto was smoking, right? I was gonna suggest that to JR, but I thought you were my guru, but like, I lost it.
You don't need to find a guru. You have to be your own guru. Don't you get it? There are no gurus but you. You are the guru.
I guess. Oh, okay. Look, I was going to vote for Trump, but look, even if I vote for him, nothing is going to change. That's what I'm trying to say, man.
How do you know? Can you see the future? Who the fuck are you to say nothing?
No, okay, you have the Senate.
What are you, the future reader?
The bill moves from Congress to the Senate and the president's desk. Okay, unless everything gets vetoed, in that case,
Look what happened when Biden came in. We immediately went over all of them.
And then the only way they can challenge that is through judicial branch.
Jay, are you just a complainer kind of guy?
Who do you think is more likely for World War III? Who do you think is more likely to do World War III?
Mostly a permanent state than anything else.
Wait, JR, I got to interrupt you, because I get the feeling that you are depressed and you're a negative person. Can you actually just change the conversation on a dime, do a full 360, and tell us something positive about today right now? I challenge you to be positive.
Why is everything
You can't do it, and I've asked you several times.
Look. You guys care about Trump.
I've asked him to even say, and I've even asked him to say anything about anything. He won't do it. He won't do it. So, he wants to be American. He wants to be through fighting Americans.
Hey, shut up.
He can make himself great again.
I'm in Wisconsin. I'm one of the
Wisconsin.
And look, I mean, you guys are not doing a good job in selling the legal person. So you guys have to do a
How's Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, okay, man. You can make fun of my accent. I don't know.
Man, it's better than Pennsylvania.
Like, you're fucking.
Pennsylvania. No, it's Pennsylvania.
Every time you speak, it sounds like you fucking speaking Madrasi, fucking Tamil. Some Tamil issues right here. So.
Can you say Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. You always switch the B and the L. You can say both, but you switch them. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, West Virginia.
Okay, come on. Go to your accent elevation class.
Want to go to West Virginia? Say West Virginia.
Jared, that's not an I'm not just Indiana. How can I be Indiana?
Change all the B's to W. Just change all the B's to W. West Virginia.
It's trending right now. Look at all the CEOs are all in Indiana. It's working.
Not for Starbucks, not anymore. Starbucks CEO was in Indiana. Now the CEO is flying in.
You get fucked over if you don't speak English right.
$3 trillion controlled by Indian accent.
JR, again, it's a beautiful Sunday. It's like 90 degrees and sunny here, and listening to you is like having cancer on my penis. So I just want to know, are you capable of saying anything positive at all? Like the sky is blue and flowers smell great and women are pretty?
I'm voting for Trump.
Say something positive.
Isn't this positive? That's not voting for Trump.
You know what? Just tell us the status of your HIV test. If that's positive, that's more of a positive than voting for Trump. It's positive.
What a disgusting guy this guy is. That was a joke, man.
I mean, did you even watch the Kennedy speech? It's 30 minutes to 40 minutes long. It's incredible. The three takeaways are: we have to stop the forever wars, we have to stop the vaccination of our population and the murdering of our population through the biopharmaceutical industrial complex, and third, we have to stop the censorship. And if we can stop those three things, America can continue to prosper and liberate and succeed. If we continue these forever wars and the vaccination of our population through more pandemics, scamdemics, and the censorship, I mean, X is the only platform. Meta and Google and Apple are completely, absolutely dedicated to censoring thought and speech. and any kind of critical analysis of vaccines and war, particularly vaccines, medical misinformation. We're living in a big brother state. If you vote for Kamala and Waltz, you're voting for communism. You are an idiot. You're a low IQ person if you vote for Kamala and Waltz. It's a fact.
I love Trump.
You should just love yourself, and let Trump love himself. If you love a man, that means you're a faggot. I don't think you really know what you're saying half the time, and thus, you're gay.
Adrian, why don't you have a job? Like, why are you unemployed?
I do have a job, but I don't want to continue to work for a guy who has Alzheimer's, and I'm not going to work for some stupid bitch and communist or two communists. I'm quitting if they win the election.
Adrian, just moved to Canada, man.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Things are gravy here. I want things to stay gravy here. That's why I'm voting for Trump Kennedy.
There's no Trump Kennedy, man. There's only Trump's the VP.
No, Kennedy's in the administration. That's just as good as being a vice president. He's going to lead up the CIA. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Isn't Musk also part of the administration?
Yeah, he says he wants to be on an executive government pricing board, meaning that he wants to analyze all the waste and mismanagement and fraud in the system. See, if you guys aren't actually paying attention and you just listen to JR ramble, vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties.
I'm tuned with what's going on to some degree. So, I don't come here to listen to Jerry ramble. He rambles on his own. How is this rambling? I mean, like I said, I'm very clear here. I'll vote for Trump. A. I gave you guys a solution on AI governance. That's B. I said the kill switch is on the hardware level. Okay, so what's wrong with that? I mean, I gave so many good solutions here. Like, I don't understand. What is it that I said was negative here? I mean,
We're challenging you to say something positive. That means force the positivity. Come on, what you're saying is just generalizations of common sense for politics.
We even explored on why do we have 7 days, and then I tied that 7 days to Hindu spirituality, and then I was able to make the connection from Sunday to Saturday. Sunday, which is Surya Dev's day, which is sun god, and then we had a really good discussion. And how is this negative? I don't understand.
Because we're not talking, JR, we're not talking about what you're talking about. We're talking about that we want you to turn on a dime, go 360, say something new, something randomly positive.
Yeah, you are on your way, but you have a long way to go. You're not a guru. You just
Okay, Guruji. Listen, I guess my work here is complete. You're incapable of actually being an entertainer. You're a schmuck and a faggot. Okay, I'm done here. My work here is complete, gentlemen. I hope you guys all have a great Sunday.
Thank you for trolling us.
You're welcome.
So your boyfriend just do you live in France?
No, I live in Uranus.
Oh, so that's Louisiana.
That was some former nation state, but obviously Europeans weren't having it. That's why it really didn't become what it became, right? So just say that, and then I'll say this, post World War II, there was a lot of people that adopted, right, and internalized Pan-Africanism. Certain forms of it, especially America.
Anyways, let me hear more miracles about the Bible.
Don't you think they would have found that interesting enough to include?
Shrouds?
The shroud with the image on it, dude. Yeah, they found it fresh and then they preserved it until now, right? So, they found it interesting. Why wasn't it written up?
They might not have noticed it. I mean,
What?
sisters, my cousins, my brother, all of them, they moved back now. Less than 2.5 hours after they left, there was a suicide bombing in Lido Beach, the same beach that they were at. Can you fucking imagine? That shit. Yo, I was shaking.
That's some
You guys, when I tell you I was
shaking.
shaking, I've never been that fucking scared in my life. I was shaking. I said, where's my family? Where's my family? I was like,
Yo, that type of stuff has happened.
I nearly had a heart attack.
Like
So,
where
what I told
that
you.
narrowly misses you is creepy.
Oh God, Lord.
Our lawyer would tell us.
Son, I nearly had a heart attack. You know that. I never thought I could have a heart attack at this age. I nearly beat him. I said, when?
Okay, so you believe a man walked on water, resurrected, and what facts do you have of that?
Facts?
Yeah, but what facts? Like, can you show me right now that a man can walk on water and that a man can resurrect right now?
Yo, Travis, it's called a metaphor. Maybe you should learn what metaphor means. Or simile.
I believe that miracles have happened to see them in our current age.
I mean, why do you think they call Luke Skywalker in Star Wars? It's called a metaphor or a simile.
Hold on, Jared, hold on. If you, all right, Michaela, I want you to prove to me right now that someone can actually resurrect, right? And that somebody can actually create water out of wine. No. Because if you said it,
Prove it right now.
Right, you have to be able to prove
A
it.
sinful and wicked generation shall ask for signs from above.
I don't think. Okay, can you show me that you exist right now?
Kamala Obama, immigrant and mulattoes, the good blacks. This is the funniest shit ever.
The 1700s, and y'all are talking about post-World War II, Cold War area, or Cold War era.
Y'all been doing what's the 1700s, bro? Doing what?
Pan-Africanism, bro.
Y'all was not on that in the 1700s. Stop
Yes, we
playing,
were,
bro.
Brody.
Fuck y'all think y'all was fighting white man's war?
Man, be here now. Stop with the history hypnosis. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties. Kamala and Walsh are communist terrorists. Vote Trump.
Who the fuck is that?
Who the fuck is that?
Can you not see that there are people in the room?
No.
How?
Why are you asking me a question you're supposed to be proving?
So I just.
I want to make my move. I'm thinking of moving to India.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So we're at what? It's funny.
How are you going to move to India when you haven't even started doing yoga in Toronto?
Wait, hang on. Shut up, Adrian. You're talking to.
Do you see my point? Is be here now. It's like you're in India now. You mother chod, you are the fake guru. You mother chod. Daddy money boss banchod.
It's not about cursing in like a month or so, but
Yeah, what's going to happen next 20 years?
20 years.
I really think it's a good thing we're not married. You know, I don't know, people who are married with like kids and all. It really sucks for these people. But yeah, go.
Yeah, so the golden age is 2048, 2049. So until then, there's going to be the depopulation agenda is going to kick in, and their target is 95%.
There's no depopulation thing happening.
Well, I'm just saying from a prediction point of view, there's a
It's
depopulation
not
agenda.
happening. It's not happening.
And they will try to enforce that, and
We're not going to enforce it.
what's gonna actually happen, Nirultama, is there's gonna be a genocide against people who support their political agenda, and that's what we should be doing.
And so I think they'll get to 75%, and then 25% of people.
The West is known for genociding, and now that we're part of a global community, they're just gonna rebrand this genocide as World War III, but that's really what's gonna happen.
So as I was saying, their target is 95%.
Narasimha is gonna get angry.
Wait, hang on. Really, let him go and then he can go, man. Like, if you're gonna interrupt, we're not going to be able to listen to what he's trying to say.
So
Okay, yeah, go.
So their agenda is 95% population to be genocided, and they will. Looks like there'll be resistance definitely. 25% of the population will remain, and then there'll be the onset of a golden age, 10,000 years.
No, but what is the timeline here? 2048?
2048, 2049 is the prediction.
No, that's when it will start, right? Hang on, man. I'm just trying to get a date here. So 2049 it will start, 2048. But at least we have time until 2048.
You're not gonna be alive.
No, but I guess
that,
what I'm trying.
That diabetic blood is not gonna survive.
I'm not diabetic, man.
Yeah, that's what Paul said.
Paul keeps fucking. He's stupid. That guy is an idiot. I'll tell you one thing.
I trust him over.
No, I mean.
People will be running to the forest because they might, I heard something about a flood in Edgar Casey or something like that.
Wait, a flood?
Yeah, like a worldwide flood, and Edgar Casey saying.
Yeah, he's retarded.
With 2048, no, I'm still not understanding, okay? 2048 is when Golden Age will start, but I think the depopulation process will start from, it's already began, is that?
Yeah. Well, you have the coinciding of Nostradamus' 27-year war prediction, which is basically World War III, which are basically already in. If you take the dates of 2019, when the pandemic started, and add 26 years, you would get about 2047, something like that. So yeah, 2046. So if you add 27 years to 2019, you get 2046.
But who will survive? You think the 25% population? What kind of people are they going to be handpicked? Is it like a divine intervention, or what is it like a?
Yeah, that's part of it, but it's also people that are practically prepared.
Only pious people will survive. Is that?
Well, that's the no, not 100%. It's people that are practically prepared. It's not necessarily the only pious will survive, right? That is a factor when it comes to the divine play, but it's not the only factor. I mean, how do you know someone is pious? I mean, are we the judge, right? No. We're not the judge. So.
We are the judge.
Says it.
Says your frontal cortex.
We're the judge for the little limited amount of free will that we owe.
Doesn't matter. Whatever will you have, that's all where it is. But why would you posit the existence of something that you don't even have access to just to gaslight?
What do you mean?
Why don't you stick to what you know and what you can know and let the rest kind of play it out? Why interject something that you have no access to and no interference of to gaslight any form of knowledge?
What are you trying to talk about? What are you talking about?
I gave an answer. Who's to judge? I said your frontal cortex. You said there's more than that.
Yes.
And I'm saying you have no evidence. You have nothing to say beyond that. And you're just positing something that's invisible.
Stop talking.
It's just rhetorical. We are to judge. We will judge. It's our duty to judge.
We're limited in our judgment capabilities.
No, we're not. We are all judged.
If you deny the existence of Krishna, you're basically an atheist.
Why would you need a secondary being that is separate from you called Krishna?
What do you mean? Why do we?
Krishna is your frontal cortex.
I don't know. What's the point of studying Sanskrit if you don't even?
Because the Sanskrit is something that's created by the frontal cortex.
There's a lot of scriptures in Sanskrit.
They're all produced by the frontal cortex.
Okay, who wrote those?
Every single thing.
Who wrote the Vedas?
The frontal cortex.
Not the person.
The frontal cortex.
What's the name of the person that wrote the Vedas?
Even the name itself means a function of the frontal cortex.
And that person's identity is who?
Say your question again. Who wrote the Puranas and the Itihas?
Vyas wrote it.
I thought he was trying to do a trick question.
Oh yeah, of course, because
No one wrote anything. It's all oral tradition.
Yeah, it's like Anup doesn't exist, it's just a frontal.
It's only the frontal cortex. That's actually true. What you said, Jer, it's called your insular region. There's a network that connects the insula with regions of your frontal, which create your sense of self. So yes, you only exist because of that frontal.
Well, what's the difference between you and me?
This is the RoboCop analogy, you know? Destroy the body, give a...
No, we don't destroy the body. We embody the body.
No, I know. But in the sense of sinister academian trying to create a, RoboCop.
We don't need to create RoboCops. Nature already creates us. We don't need to create something separate than us.
Nature.
We are what we are.
Nature? Who created nature?
The prefrontal cortex.
Oh, the prefrontal cortex created nature?
Yes.
Oh, I see. And how does that work?
Your sense of otherness and your sense of self, that is creating these categories. That's your prefrontal cortex.
So, you can create your own nature then?
Exactly, but you doesn't mean you're going to survive.
Okay, why don't you...
That's why we have dysfunctions and disorders. So if your nature is not aligned with your body, your nature is going to die.
You're getting your PhD, is it?
No, I'm getting my my eyelid.
Okay.
Or you like that one?
Yeah, there's a lot of
Just a wrong student, and I think actually you should go back changing tires or something.
No, why posit something and say, oh, we can't, who's to judge? We are to judge. How fucking dare?
I'm saying we're limited in our judgment.
No, full judgment, all judgment.
No. I say we're limited.
How do you know what Krishna has to say?
How do you say what Krishna doesn't have to say?
Because we are Krishna. Got him.
Yeah.
I would just say when you hear somebody laugh when you declare that we are Krishna, that's hitting the nail on the head. That's how you know that that's the truth. Because when you laugh, that's an indication that that's the Tao, or essentially the way, or we laugh at these things because it's like looking at yourself in the mirror and like realizing that you're an ugly monkey creature.
In honor of ugly monkey creatures, I want to change my PTR and welcome Olga to the room.
That was so fucking racist. That was so fucking racist.
Don't worry.
Why would you put my picture in Infinity? Like, why would you do that?
You have told she's claiming
I get it, I'm
to be
beautiful.
this. This messed up.
I'm not claiming, that is me. Let it be, bro.
It's not her, but he wants to be insensitive. That's crazy.
It's me. It's me. I'm beautiful.
Beautiful
woman.
on the
Get
inside.
it? Beautiful black woman. Let it be. I get it.
We're
I
not,
get
we're not the people in the vortex.
So when someone laughs at something like that profoundly, Adrian, you said this, that they know that they're a monkey creature and they're laughing in a sense at themselves. I call it the demon coming out. I feel that it's just have all sorts of great reactions. They'll start screaming.
Excuse me.
Is that Malcolm? Hello. Goddamn, Malcolm. You get a lot of talk time with them Jews. I modded you in that room yesterday because I was ready to leave and I know you destroy it. Sure you did.
Bro, that shit broke my heart, bro, when I realized you modded me. I'm like, how the fuck did I get a mod? And I'm thinking, okay, perhaps the dude on the stage is like, a fan of mine. I've definitely made a few enemies on the app, and most of them showed once he realized who I was. But yeah, I appreciate you, John. What you call it? Next time you get a green bean, give me one.
Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't give it to you until. Well, I mean, I wanted to destroy the room. That's why I gave you the hand grenade.
Oh yeah, I want to destroy his rooms myself. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know he had that much animosity towards me, but yeah, that's
I was with him in Miami, and he was wearing a Philadelphia Eagles starter jacket, and he was wearing sunglasses and an Eagles baseball cap, and I never saw so many black people. Like, I saw all these black people just like sitting there, hanging out or working or whatever, and man, they were saying, "You mother," like they wanted to kill him. I was like, holy, and he wouldn't even look at them. I'm not kidding. He didn't look at them. He didn't say nothing. He's just walking, and this guy, out of just people looking at him, black people were like, "I fucking want to kill you. I'll kill you." I was like, what the? It was the starters. It was the Philadelphia Eagles. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was what he was wearing, which pissed these people off. I assume they were there on vacation. Who knows? I mean, a lot of people fly into Miami in December.
Yeah, that's why you gotta tap in with the locals. Learn about their little cultural nuances and whatnot. Because the shit that can set somebody off in New York won't set somebody off in LA and vice versa. Like in LA, like they're primitive, pretty much.
I live in Chicago, and there's a lot of Polish people here, and I told a Polish joke one time, and that really pissed people off. I was like, what the fuck? I thought everybody likes making fun of the Polish, even the Polish. No. They're very sensitive about it. They get really pissed. I said the joke is, how did the Nazis conquer Poland so quickly? They marched in backwards, and the Polacks thought they were leaving. Man, this guy wanted to fight me. I was like, whoa. I was like, it's a joke, sir. I'm really sorry. He wanted to fight me.
Man, I know it is different too, because the joke was actually funny. So now you really would have.
Polish people can be extremists because they're basically like Christian extremists to a very high degree. They're taking their shit very seriously now because they're the only country in Europe that hasn't been colonized by Muslim migrants.
I thought Hungary was another one.
Hungary too, yeah.
What you call it?
There's probably more.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what it is. Actually, I do know what it is. But it is what it is. For real, like, this global trend of anti-Islamic sentiment, it's real intriguing. Very intriguing.
Well, I'm looking at a video right now of Muslim migrants running out of a hotel, chasing down another migrant with knives to kill him. So, this is the problem with the big cities now, is the streets are inundated with, low-level criminals, And so basically, like, you got to just go from a secure parking garage to another secure parking garage. And even then, you got to make sure it's a real secure parking garage. What I'm saying is, like, the movie Escape from New York is like becoming reality. And, you know, I mean, the only guy that ever punched me out was a black guy. And I didn't see it coming. You know, I was being so nice. I'd let him take a rip on my joint. I was at a bar being, trying to give people good information. I mean, they fucking robbed me. They beat the living shit out of me, and but I'm a nice person. Yeah, I'm a nice person. So, like, when I was in the bar, I was saying hello to people at the bar. And because I had introduced myself to people at that event, luckily one of the guys in the bar saw me getting my head smashed in, and he jumped on top of me in a fighting position, and then that gave me the ability to get up and grab my shoe and fucking run. But, I learned my lesson, but they could have killed me. They really could have killed me. And I had to spend a night in ER. But he said to me, he's like, "Sir, you dropped something." I turned around and he just fucking smashed me right in the face as hard as he could.
But what though?
They wanted to rob me. I guess I had it coming. I was drunk and stoned, but I had all this fake $100 bills. And I had stamped on it, like, "Vote Trump" or something. This was in 2000, what? When was it? I don't remember. Anyways, I was passing out fake money and telling everybody to vote Trump. So I guess, I'm just joking around, but I think they thought I had money on me or something. So they were like, "Oh, this is the target." And so I totally fucked up by even talking to them.
So you had like what, movie money?
Yeah, Amazon movie production money, exactly.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I had a similar situation, but that's wild, bro. That's wild. There's definitely a lot of low-level criminals out here. I wouldn't call that low-level though in America. You commit a robbery, you're under the jail, especially if you go to trial. Oh my God. Shit, I thought, don't even matter. But in any case, yeah, we gotta do what we can to preserve the cultural integrity of America, and I think that that language is how a lot of folks are venting their xenophobia, because I do believe in cultural integrity, right? I do believe in the preservation of the people by just monitoring what influences are allowed to expand, So when you got a criminal population, right, as all countries do, you must contain the criminal population. And containment, it could look like a jail cell, it could look like death, or a ticket, But containment nonetheless has to happen. Those individuals, though, it was just opportunist type shit. I'm not even going to condemn them, to be honest with you, because I don't know, circumstances are different for everyone. Who knows? Maybe.
Dude, you could be walking to the train and somebody could come up behind you and knife you. Like, it happens. Random murders, random robberies happen. But that's because cities are not vigilant in policing a homeless criminal population, which has nothing. I mean, give them economic opportunity, give them a job. A lot of people don't want to work, and they're just hardcore alcoholics, and they do not want to work, and they will not work, and they can't work. They're basically disabled. So, we live in a dog-eat-dog world. You have no choice but to be vigilant and know that there's, like, that black star's just roaming out there, wrong place, wrong time, and if you got the money to drive, you drive. Otherwise, public transportation always opens you up to the possibility of encountering an intoxicated robber. Most people don't commit crime unless they're fucked up, like they're already getting there, It's hard to just, like, be a criminal, like a professional criminal, like a sober criminal. It's difficult to be a sober criminal.
Oh, bro. with you on that.
But see,
I think cultural upbringing matters.
this is the thing about
I
people.
remember,
This is the thing about people who commit street level crimes. They're incapable of doing internet crimes. If you knew how to scam online, you wouldn't be robbing people in the streets. That's far too dangerous. So it's an
absolutely not lying.
yeah, it's an intelligence problem, and they have no education, and they're fucked. You know, that's why they're doing what they're doing, and it's basically survival. Like, crime goes up before the winter in Chicago because people start gathering materials to survive the winter, just in the same way that a bear goes out and, you know, starts collecting carcasses that he can munch on throughout the winter or something like that. You know, it's psychology.
Nah, for sure. What you call it? I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? My introduction, for instance, to criminality was pretty innocent.
No, I know. You told me you're on the street selling Gucci flip flops.
Yeah, that's a fact, and I was making money. But nonetheless, you know, you said something, and low key it just left my head. Fuck.
What? That the street level criminal's not capable of doing internet crime because they're not smart enough?
Right. There's a time when I came to that realization. Like, what the fuck am I doing? When I was a kid, I used to rob other kids for, like, you know, little basic goods and shit. Even adults, honestly. I fought for 7 to 14 years of my life in court over robbing an adult who went to Brooklyn College at like the age of 16. And when I really had to like sit with that risk, like, hold on, 7 years to 14 for what? Right? Then, you know, it just make you, it make you think twice. Like, hold on, is the risk really worth the reward? You know? And that's when folks, you know, discover things like fraud. And it's just like, all right, I'm not looking back. Like, why the fuck would I ever?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Like, my dad was a cop for 30 years. One time, you know, because he busted so many people, he looked at me once, he said, John, if you ever decide to become a criminal, he goes, go big, because it's not worth it. Meaning that you're going to get hammed up and you're going to get imprisoned for low-level shit. But what's the risk to reward? It's just not there. And so that means that they're, you know, it's all hindsight, but they're too stupid to know that their risk to reward ratio is so fucking not in their favor that what they're doing is the epitome of stupidity, desperation, lack of faith. They have no faith, you know, they have no faith that they can turn things around by being truthful. So that's in stoicism.
Patience is definitely another quality required. Because I lie to you not, I used to, you know, weigh things on a scale mentally. Just as a kid, I was doing. And I came to the conclusion, hey, like, this doesn't really seem worth it. But I never got caught for so long. Like, for so long, I didn't get caught.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just...
Everything, it takes a while for shit to bubble up. What you did in the past, I just got a notification telling me that my driver's license is going to be suspended because of a speeding ticket in Utah. So these states cross communicate, and there's no evading the law. If you go to another state, they communicate. There's you're fucked. Like, what you did in the past will come back eventually because the states communicate.
That's a fact. But, yeah, I definitely didn't have the patience for what I wanted. I wanted it now, right? And, you know, my friend they made me feel as though it was a void. That void was definitely artificially created. But, I felt there was a void. And as a result of that feeling, you know, I went out and tried to make a difference. You know, tried to keep up with the folks that I felt I was trailing behind a bit. Because my mother, no bullshit, she would buy one sneaker. She was legendary for this. One sneaker before the start of the school year. And tell me, like, yeah, you better not ask me for shit until it, you know, started the next school year. Now, she wasn't sincere about this. Because, you know, sometime in between the school years, she'd probably buy me maybe another sneaker, or whatever the case may be. But, like, for the most part,
I was like, it's just a preset condition in my head. Like, yeah, you know not to ask. Like, it's just, she doesn't have it, kind of thing. So, you know, you go to school, you're a kid, you don't know fact from fiction. It's just like, this is what matters. I don't pay bills, we're kids. It's about being cool. Who's the coolest? Well, he has all the cool stuff, you know. He gets the girls, you know, and let you not have the sort of familial structure that like could just make you hit to the times. My sister, for instance, like my mother, she's from Haiti. You know, they're not wearing weave out there, acrylic nails. Certain thing that just isn't or wasn't common culture when my mother was coming up in Haiti. So my sister, you know, of course, is not gonna adopt this knowledge or inherit this knowledge from my mother. You know, she's a young black girl coming up, or whatever the case may be. And for women, it's especially hard. But she goes to school, and she's noticing, like, hold on. Like, this one has on a $200 weave down her back and her legs. And this one has on Ugg boots, and this one has this, and this one has that. And we just kind of look back at our home and be like, whoa, there's a big, huge difference. So that just led to pressure internally. Like, I wasn't estranged from the notion of just taking a risk. Because everybody in my environment was taking risks, you know? So I was definitely sober. And I was just like, nah, fuck that. We gotta take risks, homie. We can't just be out here fucked up. I didn't have the patience because I didn't see the picture. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I feel like the way life is set up, right? If you look at, for instance, the food chain, I feel like chaos is inherently built into the structure of order. Okay? Because, you know, we consider murder in a sense like a bad thing, but murder helps us survive every day type shit. Like the cycle of life that is a built-in destruction, it you know, naturally entertains bad actors. Whereas we see criminals as a necessary evil. But I hope the country does what it can to, you know, contain some of our most problematic criminals. Drug addicts and shit, you know, that's another story. But like if you were just out here on some different shit, like rapists, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you simple robber. But if you're like a shoplifter or a crackhead trying to get high, they gotta figure that one out. Hey, yo, 18, you out of here? I just was chatting just now. That's what just happened. Man.
Okay, this is called Breathe.
Preach, girl,
Yeah,
preach.
faith in men, and gay as well. We have the same sort of qualities, I think, sometimes. Just saying.
the claws and the big skin.
Yeah, the gays get vicious.
Yeah.
It says, if women ruled the world, there would be no war. Just a bunch of countries not talking to each other.
Lots of hair pulled across the ocean.
Just passive aggressive bombs being fired back and forth between the countries, you know.
You want to say something? Oh, alright. Yeah, yo, you guys missed it if you weren't there last night. I helped X Spaces. We had thousands of people tune in. We had like 700 people live when it actually crashed. So the technology wasn't able to sustain that many people for one time. I guess to keep them open enough. I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but it crashed. It was excellent. I mean, we had people from the RFK campaign, people from the Trump campaign meeting each other for the first time. It was really cool. You know, everybody wanted to work with one another. We got a lot of great support. And did you want to say?
If you ever watch Braveheart, it was like the scene when they're like, "Unite the clan! Unite!"
Yeah.
Your wife's not great.
Yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, and then we had my boy here, Adrian Dittman, come up, and he was like, "You're a Jew hater," to my friend. So I had to remove him from stage. So I'm sorry I had to remove you from stage, but...
Oh, that's okay. It's worth it. I do not like that woman, that former banker from Goldman Sachs.
Oh, I know worse now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's okay.
Augustus, did you hear that the CEO or CFO of Telegram was arrested in France? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I've been snapping about that actually because, you know, it's like today it's gonna be the Telegram guy, tomorrow it's gonna be Elon Musk, the next day it's gonna be RFK Jr., and the next day it's gonna be Trump. And they're just gonna put us all in fucking jail.
Don't you go to France.
Yeah, don't go to France.
Or Europe. Europe in general right now is not looking safe, but
keep quiet. I would advise you to never come near here. We've got a proper sort of issue going on, so stay where you are.
Yeah.
only
We're
for
gonna
now.
take America back. I mean, like, honestly, my feelings of it all, like, considering you guys didn't hear my X-Base last night, I'll just tell you some things I said last night, which was like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, when RFK Jr. came out to that song, there goes my hero, watch him as he goes, and then knowing that, you know, Trump picked that song for RFK Jr. to walk out to, and that's how he feels about RFK Jr. Like, it gave me goosebumps. Like, every time I've listened to RFK Jr. speak in person, it's given me, like, physical goosebumps, heart racing, you know, tears watering in my eyes, like, feeling physically moved emotionally by the power of his words. And, you know, by the end of his speeches, I feel like amped up, like a battery was put in my back, like we're about to go storm the castle, like we're about to hop over the wall and create a revolution here in the United States, like nothing we've ever seen before. And it gets me really amped up. And then last night, or the other night, when he did the same exact thing, you know, in front of all those people, you know, I know what they felt like, because they all stood up and they roared. They roared a lion's roar, you know, many times throughout his speech, which shows me that everybody here is ready for a revolution. Everybody here is ready to take back the castle and hop over that wall. And it's revolution time. And honestly, bro, like, it made me feel like in that moment, like, holy shit, we just saved America. We just saved America.
You need to get elected in. That's the next. No, because Kamala had not been really charged of taking anything from the rest of the shit. Did you have a tear in his eye when he did that speech? I thought he did. I thought that was just. I was actually really moved by him. I thought this again just really annoying accent, but he actually was really moved.
Was that on a teleprompter or was that just his spoken word? Because I couldn't tell and I felt like it was just his off the cuff spoken word.
Nah, like what we do with RFK Jr. Is basically we have some excellent speechwriters that collaborate with him on his ideas and and then like inform it of the zeitgeist, and they create like like basically like a storyboard for him to kind of play off of, so he can improvise where he sees fit, and it comes off much more natural that way.
It certainly came off naturally, and sincerely.
Yeah, my girl's brother wrote one of his speeches.
It's amazing when you hear a stream of thought for 40 minutes, which is basically a transcript or it's like a clown house room with really great information where people aren't fighting. I mean, that speech to me was like earth shattering. I mean, it destroyed the false narrative to such a degree, and but then you talk to people who still have Kennedy derangement syndrome or Trump derangement syndrome, and you're like, you just don't listen, do you? You really just ignore it all. They just block it out.
Yeah, in my experience, I have that same derangement syndrome when I talk to people about it, and they the through line is always that they are not listening to the context, they're not listening to full speeches, they're literally just digesting headline stuff. But I just want to come up and say congratulations to Neil Justice on your work on the and everything. And I will tell you this. I just want to get one takeaway from him being on stage, because it was definitely monumental. But I could also see like the conflict in the guy too, and I think if you're like us and you listen to both speeches, I think it's very interesting the framing that RFK put forth about the team of rivals, and then also just the idea that there are a lot of things that they definitely don't agree on, and you could see that. I could see that. I'm not saying you, but I could see that. It was palpable to me that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. standing on that stage to that roar with Donald Trump, I could see that there was some conflict in him there, and
Yeah, but the conflict is healthy.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the point. Exactly. That's kind of the point. Is like we have to have some courage in life, and the dude is nothing if he isn't courageous, and we have to have courage to be able to like let down our guard and kind of come across the aisle from each other in terms of our beliefs and values and stuff. And we saw that like literally play out on that stage with him, and it was really fascinating. And
Break without dropping the walls.
You know, it's not funny, Eric. Like, me and my girl both like run shit behind the scenes of the campaign, and I keep on walking into the room, and I'm like, "Babe, we saved America." See what that is? Bro, that's really how we feel. We feel like we saved America, bro. It's like that simple. You know, I see your comment, like, why didn't you take the DP position that was offered to them? And it's because it was a part of the strategy. You know, he's going to be much more effective. He's going to be much more effective somewhere else in the administration. And not to mention the effectiveness is strategic now for him to follow through to the end and have this alliance where he's, you know, basically telling all of his supporters in swing states to vote for Trump and to pull votes away from Kamala in other states, in all of the blue states. So he didn't drop out. He suspended his campaigning and is going to stay into the end and encourages all of his voters to do this strategic alliance strategy in order to basically defeat the DNC. So if
Did you spend the $10 to see Kamala's chocolate milkshakes? Jedi traitor, Trump, and announce the dark side, but former Skywalker. May the force of your lies destroy your hate.
Trump 2024. Let's fucking go.
Hey, I love that.
What you're trying to say is that you think that
This is
he had like
taking the vice
Spent the
presidency, right?
$10 to see
Then
Kamala's chocolate
people would have
milkshakes.
perceived that as though
Jedi
like
trade about
he
Trump
had
and
somehow
announced the
like
dark side,
fallen
Luke.
to
Former Skywalker. May the force of your lives
Trump's
destroy your
ideology,
hate.
whereas like you
No,
feel like
I'm not saying
more.
that.
The VP is a useless position other than being a timer for once in a blue. I mean, really, it's just a.
I have a cabinet.
What I was trying to explain wasn't necessarily like the perception of who may be tasted. It's all about numbers. Okay, so he wouldn't do as well in the polls if he were to be the VP, right? Trump wouldn't be doing as well in the polls if he were to be doing as the VP. He's going to do even better now in the polls now that RFK Jr. is going to stay in the race and have the 5% of voters that were going to vote for him basically vote against Kamala in blue states and for Trump in swing states.
I can't see that actually. Who else is? Could you explain it?
So there's swing states, right? That means basically how the election is determined typically. So what he did was he pulled his name off of the ballot in those states, so you can't vote for Kennedy in the swing states. And he's saying to everybody who would have voted Kennedy, go vote Trump in those states. In the blue states, which are the Kamala Harris states, he's saying vote for either me or Trump, but vote against Kamala Harris in these blue states.
Oh, I see. I get it. So that's a totally
Yeah.
Oh, it's like an
Gus, I was in your X space last night when you were talking, and I'm struggling with the RFK state of New Jersey.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Is I saw this phenomenon on Twitter yesterday.
Yo, I just want to say real quick, thanks for coming to my space, man. And go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just like chopping at the bit today, and then Miracle Time says exactly what I was going to comment on, which is like I saw people on Twitter saying, "Look, I was going to vote for Trump, but since my state's going to go this way anyway, I'm going to give my vote to RFK, like people to get him over the 5%." And that's what I thought. Like that's the thing. Like a lot of people I saw in the campaign were very upset when they didn't know what was going to happen. They were hearing rumors that he was going to go over to Trump, and a lot of people really believed in this kind of, what they ran on, which is like getting away and creating a new independent governing body. And so, what can happen now is they can still get the 5%, but that'll be an interesting fence to walk. I'm kind of curious how the campaign's gonna. Are they just abandoning trying to get the 5%, or what's going on?
We're abandoning trying to get the 5%. For people left in the campaign now, people who were high advisor roles and organizational roles within the campaign have basically, they went to sleep one night and woke up the next morning as Judas. They somehow transformed in the middle of the night and they become betrayers. And what do you mean? I basically mean that there's people within RFK Jr.'s campaign that have disavowed him and said, hey, we're not going to go with this plan. We want to continue on with this independent movement and follow us if you want to. And
But Augustus, can't both happen? I mean, I got an individual who's really strongly created the platform from which someone like RFK would have a better chance of winning, maybe in a couple elections as they build, as they build out the independent party platform. Can't both happen? Can't we be supporting Kennedy and know that we're wanting him more than one party? How about that?
no, you can't. No, you can't. The numbers don't add up. So you need to have 5% for Kennedy.
Well, I'm not meaning for this election. I'm saying, right now, of course, I'm going to follow a total line for the way to vote against Kamala, but I think for the future.
He's 17.
Right.
Well, could Kennedy get 5%?
The numbers don't add up. Yeah, my whole point though was just that, some people have become stupid, some people have become Brutus, and me, I'm loyal to the foil. I'm here for the juice, but the tip of the spear is the preservation of the human race. Together, our community just saved America.
Augustus, what's the theory? I was kidding. So,
What'd you say, Horatio?
It's Tulsi that they're having sort of development.
Yeah, Tulsi's gonna get in on it. Vivek's gonna get in on it. Elon's in on it. RFK's in on it.
Well, I mean, Tulsi's been showing certain support for a while now. Like, I haven't heard Trump, like, recognize the support that she's been giving. Well, you know, it's all she's a powerhouse, man. She's a powerhouse.
Right now, she's really going through it, guys. Like, the Biden administration basically has launched a false narrative to create an investigation that she on Tulsi to the TSA, and the TSA's been on her fucking ass investigating her, basically for terrorism, for domestic terrorism.
They hate it, don't they? She's far too good looking and far too talented to be anywhere near them. They're jealous of the fucking vaccine.
Every time she flies, from my understanding, is they put two marshals on the plane. So are you saying that there's going to be, like, because I saw some memes that kind of talk about all the people you just brought up, Augustus, and like, you kind of find this guy, but is that what this coalition is supposed to do? Yeah, but you know what's crazier? Is that RFK Jr. just dropped a cryptic message saying that you think that this is crazy, just wait until you see what comes on board next.
I believe it. I believe that Trump's got like 3 more rabbits in the hat at least.
Yeah, they said next is just, I'm just going to the screen on assassinations.
How sick would be?
It's just crazy.
How sick would
We
be?
had impeachments, we had Russia hoaxes, we had like, you can go on and on.
How sick would it be during the debate if RFK was sitting in the front row staring at Kamala? Well, and I want to say, those of us that see it will agree, the Republican Party is being strengthened by these moves, because what the Democrats do, like they're doing with Tulsi, they eliminate people. They try to eliminate, they destroy them. And what Trump's saying is, let me bring these people that see it. Let's save America. Let's save the children. Let's get healthy again. Like, he's willing to put his ego on the table for a minute and bring these people in. And you know what? Our leaders are going to have to deal with different perspectives. Oh my God, Kamala going in front of, I just can't even imagine. She's a horrific human in another country with another leader. My God, it terrifies me. So I'm just saying, this is crazy.
I don't believe that there's a bit of capacity in Donald Trump to put his ego aside, but that's part of the cool thing about having big thinkers in the party, like if this coalition that's being batted around, because, and especially like a guy like RFK, like they disagree a lot, okay? Yeah. So it's actually, if you were ever worried about Trump and had Trump derangement syndrome or whatever, this should actually, I mean, I guess if you have Trump derangement syndrome, you probably have RFK derangement syndrome too, but he's worried about
Here's what RFK said, right? Because I'm friends with some people who are friends with some people at the Trump camp, and apparently they love his policy on housing and they want to adopt that. So basically, my generation will be able to buy a house if he gets elected. So let's do an air horn for that. And then also they align on other policies like creating crypto as a Federal Reserve asset, and basically we should get rid of the Fed through crypto, and they're, RFK Jr. and him are going to collaborate on that too, I'm sure, and Elon Musk, and they're saying, Donald Trump goes, oh, I'm going to buy 1 million Bitcoin. RFK Jr. says, we're going to buy 4 million Bitcoin. So basically, it's going to take our assets and further fortify them for a more technological future. So that's very promising. That's a big step towards innovation. Again, with the times that they're not stuck in this old world shit, we're going to try to use that to leverage to get out of the trillions of dollars in debt that we're. Hold on, real quick. The biggest thing that I heard during the whole RFK Jr. speech was him like leading to the point of the Abraham Lincoln
any party because Abraham Lincoln brought in people from other parties that disagreed with him so that they wouldn't just be a tilted, echo chamber, but that they could fight for ideas within the presidency during the administration. And that's what RFK, put the dot on the exclamation point with, was he's like, we're creating a unity party where I don't agree with everything that Donald Trump says, and that's out in front, and we are public with that, but we're going to do something bigger with that, and it hasn't been done since Abraham Lincoln. And I'm like, dude, I was there when this started, dude, and I'm stoked.
Smart people listen to people that are smarter than them. Smart people listen and are willing to change their minds. It's such a relief to me. We need leaders like that. That's what we need. That is a leader.
The reality of the situation is that they get into office, no more war with the Ukraine, no more war with the Israel, no more war for at least 4 years, and you better bet your sweet ass that if RFK Jr. decides to run again in 2028, that he's potentially going to get that Donald Trump endorsement, and you won't have war for another 8 years. So cheers to a decade of years with no war.
It's not out the woods yet. But hey, Augustus, how good would it be if you had Brett Weinstein, the science guy or the medical guy, and then you could have Jordan Peterson as, I don't know, education secretary? I could think of the whole cabinet coming together.
I think Joe Rogan should be the press secretary. Go ahead.
He's really worse than Pete Buttigieg, who has no background in transportation, being the transportation secretary. Can't do any worse.
Well, you have Elon Musk, airplanes, rocket.
Horatio, I think you're just trying to write like a nightmare scenario for every.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't it be so joyous?
Horatio's
joyous.
Like another secretary who was appointed by Biden, the labor secretary, didn't even know the labor numbers. She was like trying to blame that clip went viral.
That was the Secretary of Commerce.
Yeah, she was like, I don't believe in Trump fake news. It was like, well, no, this is your own department that released it.
I don't know. They probably were going to kill my family if I didn't say this.
I mean, that's worth bringing up. She was asked about this downward revision in jobs, which we've been gaslit for. And there are often revisions, but the fact of the matter is that this 818,000 job revision that the BLS put out, you haven't seen one that big. You haven't seen one that big since 2009, I think, back in 2008 or 2009.
Yeah, 15 years.
It's a huge deal, and the fact that the Secretary of Commerce, when pressed on that, didn't even know that there was a release of revisions coming out that day is fucking scary, That's the person you want to know that.
And also, you want to make sure your transportation secretary wears like Gucci loafers when he goes to visit like a train crash.
Actually, you could have Joe Rogan as the Minister for War, or whatever you call that. It could be all peace.
We don't have a minister.
He's very guy. He's fine. Whoever it's called.
No, we don't have a Secretary of War either.
We have the Joint Chiefs is the one that overlooks all the War Department.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is the Commander-in-Chief. Can you imagine? She's going to know about like airplanes and shooting. Oh my God, it's a lot.
Have you heard her explain the conflict in Ukraine? A 2-year-old can understand that. She did such a good job. Well, there's a big country next to a little country.
I like her explanation of the school bus better.
I like her explanation of cloud computing. That was my favorite.
Can you explain AI, Madam Vice President?
I watched some of the DNC, and I wonder if they brought up the First Amendment, free speech, one time in the whole fucking convention. I bet they didn't.
Did you Walter Reagan's clip where he said, "I can't guarantee free speech to save the democracy"?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He said he didn't back free speech. He's an idiot.
He said we can't guarantee there'll be free speech. We need to say with democracy, you don't have the freedom to misinformation. Like, that's literally what the First Amendment gives me, the freedom to.
Augusta, did you see the
Well, the media so it was fucking misinformation. Why the hell shouldn't we be able to?
Augusta, did you see SpaceX got the green light to rescue those astronauts?
I did see that. I think that's incredible. It's a testimony, obviously.
It's also
American innovation.
And this will just be a good PR stunt rather than anything too substantive. I don't know about the astronauts, but yeah, I mean, Elon Musk, he's really backing Trump, isn't he? But he's not particularly popular, or he's just very niche, or I don't know. I can't. What's the barometer? What do people think of him there?
I think the reason that they're turning against Elon Musk is he spoke out against the COVID lockdowns, and ever since he did that, they've just been turning to shreds.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a change with the U.S. government. I mean, to a pretty serious degree. There's no doubt about that.
Do you know what it feels like to me is that they're unamending the Constitution that got it all wrong, and they're getting back to the basics. And so, whatever Elon Musk does, he's gonna just go in there and chop off all the stuff, all the fat, and he's gonna have Robert F. Kennedy to kind of prove all the borders of, like, not just, letting people in that shouldn't just be here, but we're going to shrink our government down to the size of protecting ourselves and then giving ourselves the payback of the things that we invest in through our taxes. And that seems to be the plan. And it's just like the timing of everything is beautiful. And the fact that God turned Trump's head just in time is enough for me. I'm a believer in this. I think that this all is divine, and we are living in some kind of new 1776 moment. It's amazing.
Yeah, if you're a Christian, you have to vote for Trump because he's obviously chosen by God.
You know what fucking drives me crazy, man, is progressively speaking, I think some of the ideas that Democrats talk about are valid, right? But it seems like they want to base it within, it's like they just want to sweep all the problems under the fucking rug. It's like, why are you focusing on all, these ideological, fluff? When the country's literally degenerating around our fucking ears as we speak. It's like, so that's what I always loved about
I could give an interesting example if I can break in for a second.
I'll land with this real quick. It's like the machine is breaking down, right? It's like we're driving the machine, right? What the Democrats want to do is we want to drive this machine to the happy place, without recognizing, dude, we're running out of we have no oil, we're running out of gas, the tires are fucking breaking off. We need to fix the fucking machine before we can fucking drive to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? And the Democrats are just and that's what they don't seem to fucking get,
Also, too, I want to break in there real quick when you're talking about policy, because I could give a very good example of a new Kamala Harris policy that just got put out, and that's the $25,000 for first-time homeowners. Now, if I could just speak for just a sec, there's actually a provision in there. Well, I don't even know if there's a provision, but there was another part that was mentioned that said that first-generation first-time homeowners will get more money. So I want to look at that for a second, because something didn't feel right to me about that. Because why can't the first generation homeowners, why do they need extra money? I guess I'm trying to understand that. And why is there a why wouldn't they be better off as renters?
That's saying if your father,
I could posit a scenario. I'll get off the mic in just a second. I could posit a scenario where maybe, let's say,
I can explain to you.
Explain to me.
So, like, if your father already owned a house, then you're at a point of privilege when it comes to being able to own your own house because your parents already owned a house. So, what she's saying is, like, if nobody in your family, in your immediate family, owned a house, then we're gonna give you this $25,000.
That's not even exactly close to what it's like, but keep going, Eric.
I mean, that's what it means to be the first-time homebuyers because your parents.
No, I mean, I think that's an interesting point. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, but I thought, like, would there be a better way to put extra money forth? Like, maybe people who repaired their credit, did something to merit. Who,
Rudy, what did I say that was wrong?
Unrealized cash.
So here's what you said that's wrong is, like, okay, so your parents own a house, and because they lived in, like, a great time to buy a house, you know, we all know that, like, you know, houses were, you know, $80,000 in California in, like, 1980. So the problem is that what if your parents have, like, 4 or 5 kids? So that's the inheritance that they're leaving, especially at this point where they've taken everything else.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with.
Yeah, it does. And so hold up, man. I'll tell you what I'm saying if you ask me a question and let me speak. But, like, if you're gonna keep, like, trying to filibuster, I'm gonna lose my train of thought, and then I'm not gonna be able to answer your question. But, like, what's gonna happen is, so all of that is gonna get split 5 ways, and then capital gains taxes are going to be, like, raping that. And you won't be able to own it in the first place because just the taxes on it, because, like, really even nobody, hold up, dude, really even nobody that actually owns their house, there's very few people that actually own it right out. It's like 30% of people. So people, especially since the 2008 house crisis where, like, everything tanked, everyone had to refinance for way bigger percentages. So, like, people who almost had their houses owned straight out, they had to take out more loans, give more equity, and are now still paying the mortgages on their house as if, like, they were, you know, 3 years away. Now they're still, you know, 25 years away from paying off their house. So when that gets split up, what's going to happen after capital gains tax? Everybody, like, all the brothers and the sisters are going to get along and live in the same house with their entire family, or the house is going to get bought up for pennies on the dollar by corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard, which is what they're doing, and you're going to get nothing. And I'll land here. And if there was a bunch of people that were just like, if I only had 25 grand, I could buy a house, put a down payment on it, and still be able to pay for it, and my whole life wouldn't just be absorbed in it. We wouldn't have another 2008. That would be something. But the truth is she won't be able to give $25,000 the same way that Biden couldn't give the school loan promise that he promised. These are all vote buying techniques, and it's coercion, and no one's in that place where they're just like, if I had $25,000, which they don't have, I would steal it from all the other people that have, you know, are just surviving themselves and tax them to give it. No, I'm not. That's exactly what happened.
You were definitely misrepresenting it.
You might have autism or be minorly retarded, or your IQ's probably in the too.
Knock it off. Look, knock it off.
Hear the other side.
Knock it off. I'm going to make a comment about this. I can't stay. It's Sunday. I just hang out with my husband. Hi, guys. Okay. Just giving people 20% down payment. I've seen this little act before. It didn't work out well. You give people 20% of a down payment on a house, they don't know how to manage money, and they end up in a freaking mess. So everybody in the room, if you want to get your 25%, you want to get your house, you start watching Dave Ramsey, okay? The government ain't coming to save you, and Kamala's a liar, and you need to take it at that, okay? You need to learn how we're individuals, and we need to be individually responsible. That's what we want. And I don't care who says they're going to give you 25%. You educate yourself, and you figure out how to get your own 25%. Okay.
Agree, Shirley.
Mom's
sorry for making you mad, Shirley.
Okay, Mom's.
25,000 is never going to happen. It's a non-starter. Same with the price caps that she was talking about. I mean, it got panned by even the far left media. Like it's a non-starter.
David, is the proposal that you actually give that money to people, or is it just used as a down payment for the mortgage and then it would be paid back?
No, what would happen is, like, if you're going to buy a house, like a $200,000 house, the federal government would subsidize $25,000. The $25,000 would be like cash to the developer or cash to the person you're buying the house from.
Oh my word!
It would come in a tax refund in the tax year.
Yeah, things like that never go wrong.
Inflation? It's crazy. You sprinkle bloody cash on the ground and probably nothing's gonna.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, ratio.
The last time they did something like that, the banks crashed. It's absolutely not sane, but I did see something that just infuriated me. They are giving right now business loans to not legal immigrants. Okay? Wrap your brain around that. I do everything to save money, to start a business, and they're just going to give these people who walked across the border money to start a business. This is not right. Okay, I'm going to stop talking again.
Right, and who pays for that, David?
Yeah,
who pays for that, David?
In New York City, they published their books for the last fiscal year. I think it was like close to like $2 billion was spent on the migrants in New York City.
That's worked out well.
$2 billion that could have went towards actual citizens of New York City, but instead it's going to illegal migrants.
It's like home in business class.
Yeah, it seems to me like everybody in New York is panicking that is in any kind of power, and they're like trying to flip-flop, do whatever they can. And I won't like filibuster the whole thing, but like, dude, if you got an actual question, I'll answer it. But what you're saying is literal like socialism/communism bullshit.
Well, that's what she's saying, I think.
Who are you talking to?
You, my friend.
He's just representing the policy.
Yeah, you gotta slow your roll. He's actually just trying to he's just trying to thin slice it and chop it up. He's just like the rest of us.
It's cool, man. I could take it.
Shoot the messenger.
Horatio, it would be so much easier if we were a monarch, right? Like the U.S., we need a king.
Yeah, maybe. You could always have Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I mean, that would be a great development, wouldn't it? That would be a shame, actually. Everything was going so well.
I mean, they're out here on the west side. They're out here making TV shows.
Yeah, the Netflix is a good moneymaker for them. But anyway, that's silly. Forget them.
I legit had to turn down a job on one of their shows in the summer because I was already booked.
Well, they're doing a show, Eric. I would never be able to speak to you with a straight.
They're doing a I think Harry likes polo, and so they're doing a show for Netflix with Boardwalk Entertainment, who makes great shows, by the way, like Chef's Table and stuff. Boardwalk now. Yeah, well, they're doing a show with Meghan and Harry about polo.
Eric, what is your favorite studio?
Please don't answer.
Oh, Miramax?
Well, who owns Miramax? Is that Time Warner?
Yeah, it's Throwback, dude.
Disney or maybe?
Wait, hold on. Say again. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying a throwback. I mean, that was the hit. That was like the '90s heyday. Miramax was fucking lit.
Who owns it now?
I don't even know if it exists though. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, it's funny. Like all these studios are owned by the big four, right?
What's the big four?
It was 20th Century Fox, which is now Disney, of course. Paramount, which is Viacom Paramount. Then you have Universal, and which is owned by Comcast. Then you have Buena Vista and Disney, which is owned by obviously Disney. It's crazy.
My state. And then Warner Brothers.
Beige White and the 7
Warner Brothers Discovery, by the way.
Right.
That's right. Warner Brothers, yes.
No, I'm sitting here look, man, I've been watching my career fall apart for like the past fucking 2 years, 1.5 years. I mean, everything's fucking changing now. I mean, it's crazy. It's a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath out here, as Trump would say, a bloodbath.
What's crazy is that the fact that Discovery, right, was able to buy Time Warner.
That is ridiculous. It's optically terrible.
Yeah, which owns like HBO and CNN, those channels. Yeah,
it tells you a lot.
Yeah, Eric, it's all good. I mean, as Trump would say, they're very dangerous people, those people. But once he's in, it's all going to be good. He's going to be in that nice White House, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, but they built they moved their it's funny because they moved the headquarters from Columbus Circle in New York. They actually named the building the Time Warner Center, but they left that. Now
I've been in that building actually. It's pretty.
Yeah, now they're in Hudson Yards.
The thing that I have been like keeping track of more than anything is like all the little like crazy math genius channels where like they do that aggregate pollster stuff and figure out like where the deviants are and then like where the actual aggregate is and all that kind of stuff. And they have like gone so deep in it now that they break it down by like the borders within the borders. And like just like at the beginning of the Democratic National Convention, there was states starting to swing like heavily left enough, like Nevada and Arizona and stuff, that like they were pretty, like up for grabs, but looking like they were going to go to Democrats. And the polling that they've been doing over the past, few days, and they spend a lot of money on this stuff, and they like really, because of like what we saw in 2016, really try to check themselves and like give like 50% of whatever it is that's going to Trump, and give him 50% less and give Kamala 50% more, just to like try to trade tit for tat on like what could be going wrong here and what we could be not being told the truth on. And it looks like the RFK swing just by itself has tilted the Electoral College, that if Trump really does have any more rabbits in his hat, and that the debate goes as well as it's probably, going to go, this could literally be, and I was not saying this in 2020. In 2020, I was sounding the alarm and being like, dude, they're going to take this election. Biden is going to get in. This is big, 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 big trouble. And in 2016, I said Trump is going to win. And I'm not saying like I'm Nostradamus. I'm just saying like I really spend a lot of time looking into this stuff. But it looks like Trump's going to win the popular vote. And not only that, but like Kamala might only win like less than 10 states combined.
Yeah, I was looking at
going up.
I was looking at the obviously it's all preliminary, right? Because like the official, quote unquote, official polls don't come out until tomorrow. But as it's going right now, like Kamala is taking a negative 1% bump. Not even a bump. It's
she's doing very well. She's doing very well.
No,
I mean,
it's
we
negative
haven't
1%.
RFK, have we? It won't come out soon enough.
And this is actually Horatio. This is actually before RFK's announcement. She was taking a negative 1% after the DNC.
Oh, okay, interesting. Really?
So like now, after the RFK announcement, I mean, I don't have any preliminary numbers because obviously it's not official until tomorrow. But I would assume.
Why do you think the conference did so bad? Because I mean, the Obamas were very presidential and predictable, but I would have thought that would work for her, favor.
People don't like Obama anymore, dude. Like he's taken a hard hit, man. Like especially in the black community. Yeah, dude. People don't like him, and they kind of like the black community especially. Like it's not in like a way where it's going to be 70, 80, 90%, but like in a way where Republicans were getting like I think 2 to 4% of the black vote during before his first election, and I think he bumped that up to like somewhere between 7 and 10. Like it's exponentially going up with black men, and not so much black women, but like black women too. Like there's a lot of crazy dynamics happening within the party, just of the fact that like we are all mostly living the same life. Like whether you make $50,000 a year or $150,000 a year, you're pretty much in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
And so like
popularity of Trump though, rather than the lack of sympathy for Obama.
I think that Obama has been caught with his hands in the cookie jar a couple times that didn't look very well, and people don't like it because
and gay sex all around.
It's the dick in the butt.
Whoa!
It's the way the risk approach.
Yeah. But yeah, cause like who can know, and like, taking anybody's word for, any kind of sacred thing is retarded at this point. We know that like we're in the middle of some kind of like massive propaganda campaign that what is true and what is not. It is our job to separate the wheat from the chaff, and it's really insanely hard to do. So like it has become like a 33% Democrats that are just going to vote Democrat. Like their vote is in the air, and they're either not going to vote or they're willing to be swayed, and it looks like the sway is coming towards the populist movement. And that's what I hope for, but it also just looks what it looks like. And believe me, like I don't try to look for the echoes. I'm trying to see where like we could do better and where we could get this, this country that needs it needs to be America. Like it needs to be the light on the hill. It needs to be the beacon of hope. If we go down, the whole rest of the world comes with us.
But yeah, do you accept the very good possibility that Trump could still lose? I mean,
yeah, I think it's very possible. Very, very possible. I think that's why I keep saying 3 more rabbits. He needs 3 more rabbits out of the hat.
Well, I think one thing he needs to do is like probably fucking zip the lip a little bit more on all the kind of ego-driven shit. I think people were just kind of sick of him. He was coming off kind of crusty until this RFK thing happened, and I think this will probably invigorate his campaign. But beyond the fact that kind of his shtick is a little old and he lost a lot of people based on how he's a sore loser in the last election, the thing is like
there's also the abortion issue too, and like I don't think that was a good move. Like this kind of, I don't politically. I think the fact that Roe v. Wade got overturned, I think that's working against them in a huge way out there.
Well, it's a very simple explanation for that. It's very simple. Like most people just don't want to hear it, but I mean, it's like leave it up to the states.
Yeah, it was I agree with David. Is like most people, that's an issue that we settled a long time ago. Most people that are against abortion had a pretty reasonable expectation of like, you know, I don't want to know. I understand that if you had to do it, you probably didn't like it. It's not something that I want to bring up for somebody that had to go through it. But at the same time, we want to have some kind of like safeguard where we're not just, you know, like starting to get into the territory where like the slippery slope of killing, you know, humans is safe. I think that's what it was, and now that is an issue. But I think that regardless of the abortion argument, when people can't afford to live, they don't care about anything else except for that.
You know, I understand that it's a big issue there, but I think what Trump needs is another kind of catastrophe abroad or a little war, which of course Kamala can do nothing about. She's completely incompetent. Something else going wrong, which is badly handled, and then the
we have two wars going on right now. We have.
I know, and they're both being terribly handled. But if you had another one, I mean, that would just work.
How many do we need?
Well, we have a war in Yemen with Iran. You need
a war in Yemen count or no?
We need, that's for sure.
I mean, we had like close to 200,000 people being killed in Yemen in that civil war. Does that count?
You're being so realistic, David, and sensitive. People have forgotten about that now. It's all new.
Not the voters, though. Like the voters, like the people who are actually going to vote, remember. And
I hope so.
And that's where I think that like Trump really does have the upper hand, is that there's a lot of people that are, you know, talking their talk, but like they're not going to show up, like they're not going to be inspired on voting day, because like they just want to have their crybaby moment and they want to say what they want to say, but like when it comes down to it, like they're not going to put off whatever it is that makes their day better to go and stand in a line and vote. Like, and it's always been that way, and we've always done it. Like, young people don't vote.
Well, that's good, because they're stupid and they generally go to Democrats.
I agree. I think we could rearrange all kinds of stuff on that.
I mean, I just really hate to bring up Afghanistan and what happened there. It's pretty simple conjecture.
It's a shame it was right at the beginning of his presidency, in a way. Although that undoubtedly had a seriously direct cause with Russia, for sure.
Yeah, of course. And like obviously people are going to deny that in the administration, but when it looks, or not just looks, but it was that the U.S. was an embarrassment leaving Afghanistan.
Yeah, sure. Your allies leaving us over there didn't know what to do. I mean, it was a terrible, you know. Else can.
Yeah, no, all of the wars right now are a total embarrassment to our foreign policy of who's in charge right now. They're like, they don't seem to have any idea how to like solve anything one way or the other. And the fact that you can like post Trump up is like the one thing he did is not go to war.
How would you solve the problem right now? These wars that you say are not so good. What would you do instead? You're the new president of the United States. Go. How would you solve these two wars right now?
What do you mean? You heard them. You
have to say, John.
With the war in Ukraine, I would basically just tell Zelensky that you're not getting any more money. If you want to continue to fight this war, that's up to you, man, but you're not getting any more money. I can see where Russia as a world power is like really going to be paranoid for a lot of good reason if anyone was doing it to us. like taking over Tijuana or, Quebec or whatever, we would be not having it at all. And I would basically probably have to come to the term that we have to break up Ukraine the same way that most of the Eastern European states have been broken up, and give Russia a buffer zone where they feel safe, that they're not, we're not pulling nukes up right up to their front porch. But that's how you end it, is you just don't give them any more money. I think that the war in Gaza is a little bit more nuanced because it is religious, and you're not going to convince religious people to stop being religious. They've been pretty clear, it's about the Muslim temple that's, I forget what it's called, the Stone Mount.
Yeah, Mount, yeah.
Yeah, and they want to tear that down and build it has to do with the reason why they keep attacking each other,
blowing each other up. Blow themselves up. But Russia, I don't think you can solve it that way. You just need to give them lots of money very quickly and get the thing over with, because it's not going to stop with Ukraine.
You could literally stop it just by telling them, we're not giving you any more money.
Zelensky isn't the one
that would stop it. That's not what would stop it.
Right. But that's how Trump rolls.
Mechanically, that might be how it happened, but the fact of the matter is that you'd have to get leaders together to talk and make a deal, and they would have to probably give some land to Russia and give some land to and then the rest of Ukraine to Ukraine. They tried to do a peace deal. They tried to do a peace deal very soon off into the war. I got fucking, got torpedoed. But it's not just money. You have to get people to sign agreements, and you have to get leaders to the table to stop the war. Because if you just stop giving money, then you still have a fucking fluid situation. You still have war. You have chaos.
Europe will not accept it, of course, because it's Europe.
It doesn't matter what Europe wants.
They will not accept
it doesn't matter what Europe wants.
Absolutely matters.
No, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, obviously, yes, we're funding war weapons in Ukraine, and all that's happening is they're just killing each other.
Well, it's
a couple thousand dead Ukrainians and a couple thousand dead Russians. I don't know what.
It's hundreds of thousands. Yeah, hundreds of thousands. It's huge.
I'm just saying, on a daily basis,
It needs to stop. And
maybe when Joe Biden says there's no negotiating, that's not the way you conduct. That's not how you do things. And thankfully,
I don't want to get into it too much, but dude, obviously it's a money laundering scheme, and that's just what it is. And in war,
billions of our dollars are going to be lost, and we have no idea where this went.
Yeah, where to go. And in war, you kind of just the way that war works is, the people who killed the most people and caused the most damage get to take some of the land that they didn't have before, and then they'll have to make some deal. But I would much rather have somebody with an iron fist and a empathetic spirit that is saying dude, we can end this right now, but if we don't, you understand the position that we're in. Because Putin's not the problem. The problem is Zelensky. Zelensky's just getting free rolled. He doesn't have to do anything. He just keeps having to ask for more shit. Putin's the one that's actually having to put up the dime. And the more and more that happens, the more and more that states or countries and nation states and stuff like that, Iran are starting to make alliances, and that's what the whole BRICS currency system is. And you can stop that dead in its tracks, because I don't think Putin actually wants to go to war as much as I think that he is paranoid that we're right up his ass with a bunch of shit, and he can't do that to us. And I think that as a world leader, I would think that would be a fair deal. Like, we wouldn't let you do that to us, and so for us to do that to you,
I think
really all they're
working with the Mujahideen. That's what needs to happen. Jews need to stop coiling Mujahideen.
Is this Andrew? Andrew, is that you?
Dude, the Jews are not a monolith, man. Oh my God. Like, I understand the Zionism argument. I understand the liberal Jews argument. I understand that, like, but like this shit, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, like, dude, as just a regular person who's not Jewish, I wish that all of Israel would just, move to the United States. Like, honestly, dude, like, I think that they're in fucking danger. And I think that they're at risk at, like, really bad people being really close to them, attacking them all at once, and missing them off the earth.
I think the issue that their only threat is the people living in Gaza and the West Bank.
Well, Hezbollah? I mean, I agree that they are a problem, but, like, there's no solution to that because you either have to, like, do a literal what is going to be historically known as a genocide, even though I don't think that that's what they're doing and that's why they're doing it, but that's what it'll get marked up as. Doesn't matter. Or you literally have to get them out of there because they are being attacked on 4 fronts. There is a worldwide kind of call for, support for, the Palestinians. And I think that the Jewish people are, like, I don't have any problem with them, and I don't have any problem with the Palestinians either. I have a problem with Hamas and all the terrorist groups, even though I understand that